You are about to learn a clear, practical way to change how you think, act, and grow. This audiobook will guide you through simple daily habits, mental tools, and honest choices that connect your inner strength with real results in work, money, health, and relationships. Listen for steps you can use today, like how to quiet your mind, notice real opportunities, and make choices that match your values. You will hear concrete exercises to build disciplined, steady habits, to handle setbacks, and ways to make money decisions that protect both your peace and your future. Notice how each idea feels as you read it, the steadiness in your breath, the small lift in your chest when a new possibility appears, and the calm that comes from clearer direction. Stay with this whole program and try the short practices as they come. The changes are practical, testable, and meant to be done one day at a time. If you commit to the process, you will move from wishing for a better life to making it happen. Chapter 1: Awaken the divine power within your daily thinking. The quality of your life rises or falls with the quality of your thinking, and this truth becomes unavoidable the moment you slow down enough to notice how your thoughts shape every action, reaction, and decision you make. Each morning you wake up with a mind that is already active, already forming judgments, expectations, and assumptions before your feet touch the floor. Most people move through their days on this automatic setting, without ever questioning who is in control of their inner world. Yet within your thinking lives a power that is far greater than habit, fear, or circumstance. This power is not distant or reserved for a few chosen individuals. It is already present within you, waiting to be recognized, trained, and directed with intention. Awakening the divine power within your daily thinking is not about adopting mystical beliefs or escaping reality. It is about realizing that your mind is the gateway through which discipline, clarity, courage, and purposeful action enter your life. Every meaningful change begins internally. Long before results appear in your bank account, relationships, or health, they appear in your thoughts. Thoughts influence emotions, emotions influence actions, and actions create outcomes. When thinking is careless, scattered, or driven by fear, life feels reactive and exhausting. When thinking is disciplined, focused, and guided by higher values, life begins to move with direction and strength. The divine power within you is the ability to choose how you think, especially when external conditions attempt to control you. This power shows itself most clearly when you face discomfort and still act with wisdom. It appears when pressure rises and you respond with calm. It grows stronger each time you refuse to let impulse override reason. Many people confuse divine power with sudden inspiration or emotional highs. In truth, it is far quieter and more consistent. It is found in the steady practice of observing your thoughts without becoming enslaved by them. When you notice a negative pattern forming, such as self-doubt or resentment, you possess the power to pause and redirect. This pause is not weakness, it is mastery. In that moment, you choose who governs your inner world. A mind that is left unchecked becomes a battlefield of borrowed opinions and past fears. A mind that is trained becomes a tool for building a meaningful life. Awakening this power begins with awareness. Awareness means paying attention to what occupies your mind during ordinary moments. Notice what you think about while walking, eating, or waiting. Notice the tone of your inner dialogue. Is it encouraging or critical? Is it focused on growth or fixated on limitation? Awareness does not judge, it observes. This observation creates distance between you and unhelpful thoughts, allowing you to choose better ones. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to direct your mental energy toward what truly matters. A disciplined thinker understands that thoughts are not facts. Many thoughts arise from habit, conditioning, or fear rather than truth. The divine power within you allows you to question these thoughts instead of obeying them blindly. When your mind says you are not capable, you can respond with evidence of effort and learning. When it says success is impossible, you can counter with patience and persistence. This internal dialogue is not about forcing positivity. It is about aligning your thinking with reality, effort, and responsibility. Responsibility is central to awakening this inner power. Responsibility does not mean blaming yourself for everything that goes wrong. It means recognizing that your response to events is always within your control. You may not control the actions of others, the economy, or unexpected setbacks, but you always control how you interpret and respond to them. This realization is freeing. It removes the need to wait for permission, approval, or ideal conditions. Growth begins the moment you accept that your thinking shapes your direction. Daily thinking becomes divine when it is guided by purpose rather than impulse. Purpose gives your mind something to organize around. Without purpose, thoughts drift and energy is wasted. With purpose, even small actions feel meaningful. Begin each day by reminding yourself of the kind of person you are committed to becoming. This reminder does not need to be dramatic or emotional. It can be simple and steady. You might commit to being patient under pressure, honest in effort, or disciplined in time use. This intention sets the tone for your thinking throughout the day. The way you speak to yourself matters deeply. Internal language influences confidence and action more than external words ever could. Replace harsh self-talk with firm but fair guidance. When you fall short, acknowledge the mistake without attacking your worth. Correction is powerful when it is rooted in respect. Growth accelerates when the mind becomes a place of instruction rather than punishment. This approach reflects wisdom and strength rather than indulgence. Silence plays a critical role in awakening inner power. Constant noise distracts the mind and weakens focus. Regular moments of quiet allow deeper thoughts to surface. Silence does not require isolation or retreat. It can be practiced during short pauses throughout the day. These moments help you reconnect with your values and intentions. In silence, you can evaluate your actions and adjust your direction. This habit strengthens clarity and reduces reactive behavior. Faith in this context is not blind belief. It is trust in your ability to learn, adapt, and persist. Faith grows through action. Each disciplined choice reinforces confidence. Each effort made despite uncertainty strengthens belief. The divine power within you is built through consistent application rather than sudden realization. Small actions repeated daily create a strong foundation for long-term success. Consider how you handle setbacks. Setbacks reveal the state of your thinking more than successes ever will. When challenges arise, do you respond with blame or reflection? Do you withdraw or adjust? A disciplined mind views setbacks as information. Information guides improvement. This perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. It also reduces fear, because failure becomes a teacher rather than a verdict. Your environment influences your thinking, but it does not control it. Choose inputs carefully. Limit exposure to negativity and distraction. Feed your mind with ideas that encourage responsibility and effort. This does not mean avoiding reality. It means selecting information that strengthens rather than weakens your focus. Reading thoughtful material, engaging in meaningful conversations, and reflecting regularly all contribute to mental clarity. The divine power within you thrives on consistency. Occasional inspiration is not enough. Daily practice builds strength. Begin with simple habits that reinforce intentional thinking. Start the day with a clear intention. Review your actions at night with honesty. Ask what worked and what needs adjustment. These practices anchor your thinking in reality and progress. Emotional control is a sign of inner strength. Emotions provide valuable information, but they should not dictate behavior. When emotions arise, acknowledge them without acting impulsively. This pause allows reason to guide response. Over time, this habit creates stability and confidence. Others will notice your calm under pressure, but the greatest benefit will be internal. Discipline is not restriction. It is freedom from chaos. A disciplined mind experiences less regret and more progress. Discipline begins with small choices made consistently. Choose to focus when distraction calls. Choose effort when comfort tempts. These choices compound over time, creating momentum and confidence. Gratitude sharpens awareness and strengthens resilience. Regularly acknowledge progress and effort, even when results are not immediate. Gratitude does not deny difficulty. It balances perspective. This balance prevents discouragement and sustains motivation. Service to others reinforces inner strength. When actions align with integrity and contribution, thinking becomes clearer. Serving others does not diminish personal growth. it expands it. Purpose grows when effort benefits more than the self. As you practice intentional thinking, patience becomes essential. Growth unfolds gradually. Trust the process. Focus on effort rather than outcome. This focus reduces anxiety and increases consistency. Results follow disciplined action. Each day offers countless opportunities to exercise inner power. Every choice is a chance to reinforce discipline or surrender to habit. Awareness of this truth transforms ordinary moments into meaningful practice. Over time, thinking becomes aligned with values, actions become purposeful, and life reflects inner order. The divine power within you is not something to be discovered once and forgotten. It is a capacity that must be exercised daily. Through awareness, responsibility, discipline, and reflection, this power becomes a guiding force rather than a distant concept. As your thinking becomes intentional, your life becomes directed. As your mind becomes disciplined, your actions become effective. This is how lasting growth begins and continues, one thought at a time. Chapter 2 Claim full responsibility for your life growth today. Growth begins the moment you stop waiting for life to change and decide that you will change first. Claiming full responsibility for your life growth today is not a slogan or a motivational phrase. It is a clear and demanding decision that alters how you think, act, and respond to every situation you face. Responsibility is the dividing line between those who drift through life and those who shape it with intention. When you accept responsibility fully, excuses lose their power, blame becomes irrelevant, and progress becomes possible. Many people confuse responsibility with guilt or self-blame. Responsibility is neither. Guilt looks backward and weakens the mind. Responsibility looks forward and strengthens it. It is the calm acceptance that your choices matter more than your circumstances. This acceptance is uncomfortable at first because it removes the comfort of blaming others, systems, or luck. Yet within that discomfort lies freedom. When you accept that your growth is your duty, you also accept that it is within your control. Life will not always be fair. Effort is not always rewarded immediately. People may misunderstand you or fail you. These facts remain true whether you accept responsibility or not. The difference is how you respond. A responsible mind asks what can be done now instead of who caused the problem. It focuses on adjustment instead of complaint. This shift in thinking transforms frustration into action. Responsibility begins with honesty. You must be willing to look at your habits, decisions, and patterns without defending them. This honesty is not harsh, it is precise. If progress is slow, examine consistency. If goals remain unmet, examine priorities. If relationships feel strained, examine communication. Each area of life responds to attention and effort. Ignoring reality delays growth. Facing it accelerates it. Claiming responsibility also means releasing the belief that someone else will rescue you. Support is valuable, but dependence weakens initiative. Growth requires self-direction. When you wait for motivation, permission, or ideal conditions, you place your future outside your control. Responsible individuals act despite uncertainty. They prepare rather than wait. This approach builds confidence because it is based on effort rather than hope. Daily growth depends on small choices repeated consistently. Responsibility shows itself in how you use time, manage energy, and honor commitments. It is easy to plan improvement. It is harder to practice it when no one is watching. The responsible mind understands that private actions shape public results. Discipline practiced in quiet moments becomes strength displayed under pressure. Language reveals responsibility. Pay attention to how you describe your challenges. Words like always, never, and cannot signal avoidance. Replace them with language of effort and choice. This shift is not cosmetic. It changes how the mind approaches problems. When you speak as someone who can act, you begin to act more effectively. Responsibility also involves setting boundaries. Growth requires protecting focus and energy. This may mean declining certain requests or reducing distractions. Boundaries are not selfish. They are necessary. Without them, effort becomes scattered and progress slows. A responsible individual understands that saying no to what does not serve growth is a form of commitment to what does. Mistakes are unavoidable. Avoiding them is not the goal. Learning from them is. Responsibility transforms mistakes into lessons. Instead of denial or justification, ask what the mistake reveals. Was preparation lacking? Was attention divided? Was emotion allowed to override reason? Each answer points toward improvement. This process builds resilience because failure becomes informative rather than discouraging. Emotional ownership is a critical aspect of responsibility. Emotions arise naturally, but reactions are chosen. You cannot control initial feelings, but you can control behavior. Taking responsibility means refusing to let anger, fear, or frustration dictate actions. This discipline prevents regret and preserves self-respect. Over time, emotional control strengthens confidence and trust in your judgment. Responsibility extends to health as well. Energy supports growth. Neglecting rest, movement, or nutrition undermines effort. Taking responsibility for physical well-being is not vanity. It is preparation. A clear mind depends on a supported body. Small daily habits in this area produce long-term stability and endurance. Financial growth also begins with responsibility. Spending reflects values. Saving reflects foresight. Earning reflects effort and skill. Avoiding financial responsibility delays independence. Accepting it creates options. Begin by tracking habits honestly. Adjust gradually. Consistency matters more than intensity. Financial discipline reduces stress and increases freedom. Responsibility in learning requires humility. Growth demands admitting what you do not know. Pride resists instruction. Responsibility welcomes it. Seek feedback without defensiveness. Read with curiosity. Apply what you learn. Knowledge unused becomes clutter. Knowledge applied becomes power. This approach sharpens judgment and expands capability. Relationships improve when responsibility replaces expectation. You cannot control others, but you can control how you listen, speak, and respond. Taking responsibility for communication reduces conflict. Clarify intentions. Address issues early. Apologize when necessary without excuses. This maturity builds trust and respect. Progress often feels slow because growth compounds quietly. Responsibility keeps you engaged during this phase. Measure effort rather than immediate outcome. Did you act with integrity today? Did you follow through on commitments? These metrics predict future results. Focusing on them sustains motivation. There will be days when effort feels heavy. Responsibility does not demand perfection, it demands persistence. On difficult days, reduce expectations but maintain action. Even small steps preserve momentum. Consistency matters more than intensity. This mindset prevents burnout and discouragement. Taking responsibility also means choosing patience. Growth unfolds over time. Rushing creates errors. Steady effort creates mastery. Accept that progress includes plateaus. Use them to refine process rather than question purpose. Patience strengthens resolve. Responsibility frees you from resentment. When you accept ownership, bitterness loses relevance. You stop replaying past wrongs and start building future strength. This shift restores mental energy and clarity. Forward focus replaces rumination. Each morning offers a renewed opportunity to practice responsibility. Begin the day with intention. Decide how you will respond to challenge. Decide what effort you will prioritize. End the day with reflection. Acknowledge progress. Identify adjustments. This cycle builds awareness and direction. Claiming full responsibility for your life growth today is not a one-time declaration. It is a daily practice. Each decision reinforces it. Over time, responsibility becomes identity. You become someone who acts with purpose, learns from experience, and builds steadily. This identity attracts opportunity because it is grounded in reliability. No one else can carry this responsibility for you. That truth may feel heavy, but it is also empowering. Within it lies freedom, dignity, and progress. When you accept responsibility fully, growth stops being a wish and becomes a discipline. Life responds accordingly. Chapter 3: Align your thoughts with purpose, faith, and action. A life without alignment feels busy, yet unfulfilled, because effort is scattered and direction is unclear. Aligning your thoughts with purpose, faith, and action brings order to your inner world and creates forward movement that feels grounded and steady. Alignment means that what you think supports what you believe, and what you believe guides what you do. When these three work together, progress becomes natural rather than forced. When they work against each other, energy is wasted and confusion grows. Thoughts are the starting point. They shape perception and influence decisions long before action takes place. If your thoughts lack direction, action becomes impulsive. Purpose gives your thoughts a destination. Purpose does not need to be grand or final. It only needs to be meaningful enough to guide today's effort. A clear sense of why you act simplifies decisions. It reduces hesitation because choices are measured against values rather than convenience. Faith supports alignment by providing confidence when outcomes are uncertain. Faith here is not passive hope. It is trust in the process of effort and growth. Faith allows you to act without needing immediate proof. It stabilizes thinking during doubt and maintains commitment during slow progress. Without faith, purpose weakens under pressure. With faith, purpose remains steady even when challenges arise. Action completes alignment. Thoughts and beliefs remain theoretical until they are expressed through behavior. Action tests thinking. It reveals gaps between intention and discipline. Aligned action does not require perfect conditions. It requires commitment. Small, consistent actions reinforce belief and clarify purpose. Over time, action shapes identity. Misalignment often appears as frustration. You may think positively but act inconsistently. You may believe in growth but avoid effort. These conflicts drain energy. Alignment restores efficiency. It ensures that mental energy supports behavior rather than undermines it. Begin alignment by examining daily thoughts. Notice whether they reflect your stated goals. If your purpose involves growth, but your thoughts dwell on avoidance, adjustment is needed. This awareness creates choice. Replace passive thinking with questions that prompt action. Ask what step can be taken now. Ask how effort can be improved. These questions direct attention toward progress. Faith grows through experience. Each action taken despite uncertainty strengthens trust in your ability to adapt. Waiting for complete confidence delays growth. Confidence follows action. Trust this sequence. When doubt arises, acknowledge it without surrendering direction. Faith does not eliminate doubt. It moves forward despite it. Alignment requires consistency. Sporadic effort weakens belief. Regular effort strengthens it. Create routines that support purpose. Routines reduce reliance on motivation. They provide structure when willpower fluctuates. This structure keeps action aligned even during difficult periods. Language influences alignment. Internal dialogue should reinforce direction. Speak to yourself with clarity and firmness. Avoid vague intentions. Replace them with specific commitments. Clear language sharpens focus and supports follow-through. Alignment also demands honesty. If actions do not match stated values, examine the cause. Avoid self-deception. Correction begins with acknowledgement. Adjust goals or habits accordingly. This honesty preserves integrity and momentum. External distractions challenge alignment. Constant noise fragments attention. Limit inputs that pull thoughts away from purpose. Protect time for reflection and focused effort. This protection is an act of discipline, not isolation. Faith requires patience. Results may lag behind effort. Impatience disrupts alignment by shifting focus to outcome rather than process. Stay committed to daily actions. Trust accumulation. Progress often becomes visible only after consistency has been established. Purpose evolves. Alignment does not freeze direction. It allows refinement. As experience grows, values clarify. Adjust goals without abandoning discipline. This flexibility maintains relevance while preserving momentum. Emotional states influence alignment. Strong emotions can distort thinking. Practice pausing before reacting. This pause allows values to guide response. Emotional regulation preserves alignment under stress. Alignment also improves decision-making. Choices become simpler when measured against purpose. This clarity reduces regret. Decisions made in alignment build confidence, even when outcomes are uncertain. Service reinforces alignment. Actions that contribute beyond self-interest strengthen purpose and faith. They provide meaning that sustains effort. Contribution reminds you that growth extends beyond personal gain. Rest supports alignment. Exhaustion weakens discipline and clarity. Adequate rest restores judgment. Balance effort with recovery. This balance maintains long-term effectiveness. Alignment is tested during setbacks. Challenges reveal commitment. Use setbacks as feedback. Adjust strategy while maintaining direction. This response strengthens resilience and trust. Each day offers opportunities to realign. Begin mornings with intention, end evenings with review. This cycle maintains awareness. Small corrections prevent large deviations. Alignment transforms effort into progress. Thoughts guide belief. Belief supports action. Action reinforces belief. This cycle builds momentum. Over time, alignment becomes habit. Growth becomes sustainable. Living aligned does not eliminate difficulty. It provides stability within it. You move forward with purpose, supported by faith, expressed through action. This alignment creates a life shaped by intention rather than reaction. Chapter 4: Build unshakable self-belief through disciplined daily decisions. Self-belief is not something you wait for or hope appears one day. It is built quietly through what you do each day, especially when no one is watching and no reward is guaranteed. Unshakable self-belief is the result of disciplined daily decisions repeated long enough to change how you see yourself. It is not confidence based on mood or praise. It is trust earned through action. When you prove to yourself that you follow through, that you keep promises, and that you act according to your values, even when it is uncomfortable, belief becomes stable and reliable. Many people chase confidence by trying to feel ready before they act. This approach fails because feelings are unstable. Discipline does not depend on feelings. Discipline depends on choice. Each time you choose effort over comfort, clarity over distraction, and responsibility over excuse, you send a message to your mind that you can be trusted. Over time, this message becomes identity. You stop asking whether you can handle challenges and start assuming that you will figure things out through effort. Self-belief weakens when words and actions do not match. Every broken promise to yourself erodes trust. Every delay justified by comfort creates doubt. Discipline repairs this damage. Start with small commitments that you can keep. Wake up when you say you will. Complete tasks you plan. Finish what you start. These actions may seem minor, but they accumulate. Consistency is more powerful than intensity because it builds reliability. Daily decisions shape self-image. If you repeatedly avoid effort, the mind learns to expect avoidance. If you repeatedly choose discipline, the mind learns to expect follow-through. This expectation becomes confidence. Confidence rooted in behavior does not disappear when circumstances change. It is steady because it is earned. Discipline requires structure. Remove unnecessary decisions from your day by creating routines. Routines conserve mental energy and reduce reliance on motivation. When effort becomes automatic, resistance decreases. This structure supports belief because it creates predictability. You know what you will do regardless of mood. Self-belief also depends on how you respond to failure. Discipline does not eliminate mistakes. It determines how you recover. Avoid harsh self-criticism. Correct without insult. Identify what needs improvement and apply effort again. This response builds resilience and trust. You learn that setbacks do not define you. Response does. Comparison undermines belief. Measuring yourself against others shifts focus away from progress. Discipline directs attention inward. Measure effort against standards you control. This internal measurement strengthens confidence because it is fair and consistent. Language matters. Speak with precision. Avoid dramatic statements that exaggerate difficulty. Use calm and direct words that reflect effort. This language influences perception and action. Clear language supports disciplined behavior. Belief grows through preparation. Prepare before challenges arise. Skill reduces fear. Practice builds readiness. When preparation meets opportunity, confidence follows naturally. Avoid waiting for perfect readiness. Act while improving. Rest and recovery support discipline. Exhaustion weakens judgment and increases impulsive decisions. Protect sleep and recovery to maintain consistency. Discipline includes knowing when to pause to preserve long-term effort. Integrity strengthens belief. Do what aligns with values even when it costs comfort. Integrity creates internal stability. You trust yourself because your actions match principles. This trust is unshakable because it does not depend on outcome. Daily reflection reinforces belief. Review actions honestly. Acknowledge effort. Identify adjustments. This practice keeps growth intentional and prevents drift. Unshakable self-belief is not loud. It is quiet confidence built through repeated proof. Discipline provides that proof. Each day offers opportunities to strengthen it. Choose actions that support the person you are becoming. Over time, belief becomes solid because it is based on evidence, not emotion. Chapter 50. Train your mind to focus on meaningful goals. The mind becomes strong or scattered based on what it is trained to focus on each day. Focus is not a talent reserved for a few people. It is a skill shaped by repetition and choice. When the mind drifts toward distractions, worries, or empty desires, energy is wasted and progress feels slow. When the mind is trained to focus on meaningful goals, effort gains direction and life begins to feel purposeful. Meaningful goals give the mind something worthy to work toward, something that justifies discipline and sustained effort. Many people confuse activity with progress. They stay busy yet move nowhere because their focus is divided. Meaningful goals simplify life by reducing noise. They act as a filter for decisions. When focus is clear, choices become easier because they are measured against direction rather than impulse. This clarity reduces stress and increases confidence because effort is no longer random. Training focus begins with defining what truly matters. Meaningful goals are connected to values, not pressure or comparison. They reflect who you want to become rather than what you want to impress others with. Take time to consider which goals improve your character, stability, and contribution. These goals may not always be exciting, but they are sustaining. They provide motivation that lasts beyond emotion. Once goals are defined, the mind must be taught to return to them repeatedly. Distraction is natural. Focus is learned through redirection. Each time attention wanders, bring it back without frustration. This practice strengthens concentration over time. The mind learns through repetition, not force. Daily habits support focus. Begin the day by reminding yourself of one primary goal. This reminder does not need to be elaborate. A simple statement of intention is enough. Throughout the day, check whether actions support that goal. These checks keep effort aligned. Environment influences focus. Remove unnecessary distractions from spaces where work is done. Simplify surroundings. Order supports clarity. A focused environment reduces mental strain and increases efficiency. Mental clutter weakens focus. Limit consumption of information that does not serve goals. Too much input overwhelms attention. Choose quality over quantity. This discipline preserves mental energy for meaningful tasks. Focus also requires patience. Progress toward meaningful goals is often slow. Impatience pulls attention toward short-term comfort. Train yourself to value steady improvement. Celebrate effort rather than immediate results. This mindset sustains focus during long stretches of work. Fear often disrupts focus. Fear of failure, judgment, or uncertainty pulls attention away from action. Acknowledge fear without obeying it. Redirect focus to effort within control. Action reduces fear by providing feedback and progress. Break large goals into manageable steps. The mind focuses better when tasks feel achievable. Each completed step reinforces confidence and maintains momentum. This approach prevents overwhelm and procrastination. Rest supports focus. Fatigue weakens attention and increases distraction. Protect rest to maintain mental clarity. Focus is easier when energy is stable. Focus improves through consistency. Train the mind daily. Even short periods of focused effort build strength. Over time, concentration becomes more natural and less draining. Meaningful goals provide resilience. When challenges arise, focus keeps effort steady. It reminds you why persistence matters. This reminder sustains discipline during difficulty. Reflection sharpens focus. Regularly review progress and adjust direction. Reflection prevents drift and reinforces purpose. It keeps goals relevant and aligned with growth. A focused mind experiences less regret. Decisions are intentional. Time is used with care. Life feels directed rather than reactive. Training the mind to focus on meaningful goals is a daily practice. Each moment of attention shapes direction. Over time, focus becomes habit. Goals become progress. Effort becomes fulfillment. Chapter 6a develop spiritual confidence that guides smart financial choices. Money decisions often reveal the quiet beliefs you carry about yourself, security, and worth. Developing spiritual confidence that guides smart financial choices begins with understanding that money is a tool, not a measure of identity. When confidence comes from values rather than fear, financial behavior becomes calmer, clearer, and more disciplined. Spiritual confidence is the steady trust that you can act wisely even when temptation or pressure appears. It does not depend on how much you have. It depends on how you think and choose. Many financial mistakes are not caused by lack of information. They are caused by emotional reactions such as fear, impatience, pride, or comparison. Spiritual confidence creates distance between emotion and action. It allows you to pause before spending, borrowing, or risking. This pause is powerful, protects resources, and preserves dignity. When decisions are guided by inner stability, money stops controlling behavior. Spiritual confidence begins with clarity about values. Values determine priorities. Priorities shape spending. If values are unclear, money is spent reactively. Clarify what matters most, such as stability, growth, learning, contribution, or freedom. Let these values guide financial choices. This alignment reduces regret because actions reflect purpose rather than impulse. Faith plays a role in financial confidence by reducing anxiety about uncertainty. Income can fluctuate. Expenses can arise unexpectedly. Faith does not ignore these realities. It prevents panic. It supports thoughtful planning and patient action. When fear dominates thinking, short-term relief is chosen over long-term stability. Faith steadies the mind and supports disciplined decisions. Spiritual confidence encourages preparation. Preparation replaces worry with action. Saving regularly, tracking expenses, and planning ahead are expressions of respect for the future. These practices build confidence because they create control. Control reduces stress. Stress reduction improves judgment. Avoid comparing financial progress with others. Comparison distorts perception and leads to poor decisions driven by image rather than need. Spiritual confidence focuses inward. It measures progress against personal standards. This focus supports sustainable growth. Delayed gratification strengthens confidence. Choosing to wait builds discipline. Discipline builds trust in yourself. Each time you delay unnecessary spending, you reinforce the belief that you can act in your long-term interest. This belief becomes confidence. Spiritual confidence also involves humility. Recognize limits. Avoid debt that strains peace of mind. Seek understanding before committing resources. Humility prevents costly mistakes and supports learning. Generosity strengthens spiritual confidence. Giving within means reinforces abundance thinking without recklessness. It reminds you that money serves purpose beyond accumulation. Generosity practiced with discipline builds satisfaction and balance. Financial confidence grows through learning. Understand basic principles of budgeting, saving, and earning. Apply knowledge gradually. Avoid shortcuts promising quick gain. Sustainable growth requires patience and effort. Emotional awareness supports smart choices. Notice emotional triggers related to spending. Fatigue, stress, or social pressure can influence behavior. Awareness creates choice. Choice supports discipline. Rest and clarity influence financial judgment. Exhaustion weakens resistance to impulse. Protect rest to maintain sound decision-making. A rested mind plans better. Consistency matters more than amount. Regular saving builds security even if contributions are small. This consistency reinforces confidence because progress becomes visible over time. Spiritual confidence also means accepting responsibility. Own past mistakes without shame. Learn and adjust. Responsibility restores control and direction. Set clear boundaries. Decide in advance what spending aligns with values. Boundaries reduce decision fatigue and protect resources. Trust process over emotion. Markets change. Income varies. Stay committed to principles rather than reacting to headlines or opinions. This steadiness preserves resources and peace. Financial confidence supports freedom. Freedom allows focus on growth and contribution rather than survival anxiety. This freedom is built gradually through disciplined choices guided by inner strength. Each decision is an opportunity to practice alignment. Ask whether a choice supports long-term stability and values. This question simplifies decisions. Spiritual confidence does not eliminate desire. It orders desire. It places purpose above impulse. Over time, this order creates security and respect for self. Money responds to behavior shaped by belief. When belief is grounded, behavior becomes disciplined. Discipline produces stability. Stability supports growth. Developing spiritual confidence that guides smart financial choices is a daily practice. It requires awareness, patience, and integrity. Through consistent effort, money becomes a servant rather than a source of stress. Confidence grows because choices reflect wisdom rather than fear. Chapter 70. Practice daily silence to hear inner guidance clearly. Silence is an action, not an absence, and practicing it daily sharpens clarity, courage, and wise decision-making. In a life filled with constant input, quiet moments are the place where deeper answers appear and where honest priorities reveal themselves. Practicing silence is not about escaping responsibilities or ignoring reality. It is a disciplined choice to reduce noise, examine what matters, and then move with clearer purpose. When sound fades for a few minutes, the mind finds space to sort through feelings, facts, and intentions, and that sorting creates better choices. Begin with a simple commitment that is easy to honor. Start with 5 minutes each morning where nothing is allowed to compete for attention. Sit comfortably, pay attention to the weight of the body, notice breath entering and leaving, and allow thoughts to surface without following them. If the mind drifts, gently bring attention back to breathing. This short, disciplined pause trains the nervous system to settle and makes it easier to recognize calm, honest impulses later in the day. Create small interruption points during routine tasks. Practice 1 minute of silence before answering a message, before speaking in a meeting, and before making a purchase. These micro pauses break the automatic pattern of reaction. In those 60 seconds, notice sensations in the chest or stomach, name one feeling, and ask a single practical question about next steps. Often immediate urges fade when given a short span of honest attention. That space allows better judgment to guide action. Use the body as an anchor. When sitting, quietly scan from the feet to the head, noticing tension without judging it. Release held breath or a clenched jaw with slow, deliberate exhalations. Physical sensations are the raw data of emotional life, and silence makes them intelligible. Learning these signals reduces impulsive responses because reactions often begin in the body before the mind constructs a story about them. Silence changes the quality of thinking. Instead of feeding every thought into an ongoing commentary, observe whether ideas are constructive, clear, and aligned with values. Practice choosing 3 criteria for important decisions, for example, truth, usefulness, and consequence. In quiet, compare a possible action against these standards. If the action fails the test, step back and gather more information. Making these comparisons in silence reduces regrets and the need for later corrections. Keep a small notebook in which quiet observations are recorded. After a 5-minute pause, write 1 clear sentence about what surfaced and 1 immediate action you can take. This habit turns insight into practice and prevents insights from evaporating under noise. A written note also creates a reliable history to review when making larger decisions, so intuition is tested against outcomes over time. Designate technology-free windows each day. Silence loses its power when screens constantly press for attention. Schedule 2 blocks of no phone, email, or social media for at least 30 minutes each day. Use that time to think, read, plan, or walk without a playlist. The absence of curated input allows original thought to arise and helps form a steady internal voice that is not always echoing external opinions. Distinguish between fear-driven urges and calm inner guidance by watching bodily tone and speech patterns. Fear often feels rushed, tight, and accompanied by rehearsed complaints. Inner guidance tends to arrive slowly with a clear, concise recommendation and a sense of direction that does not demand immediate action. When in doubt, practice a short breath pattern. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. This simple sequence reduces adrenaline and clarifies whether a choice is urgent or simply loud. Practice silence with other people by creating ritualized pauses in conversation. Before responding in a tense discussion, count to 4 or place a hand lightly on the table and breathe twice. These small gestures signal control and reduce overheated exchanges. Often the other person will slow down too, and conversation will move from reactive to constructive. Use silence as a learning tool after mistakes. Instead of immediately explaining, defending, or blaming, spend 5 minutes in quiet reflection to outline what happened, what decisions led to the result, and what specific behavior will change next time. This method removes emotional defensiveness and replaces it with exact practical adjustments. Train creative thinking in silence by alternating focused quiet sessions with active work. For example, spend 20 minutes silently brainstorming possibilities on paper, then move into 30 minutes of execution. Silence allows connections to form without interruption, and the execution period converts ideas into results. Over time, this rhythm builds a stronger inner flow of useful ideas rather than scattered inspiration. Incorporate short silent walks into the day. Walk without audio and notice the rhythm of steps, the feel of air on skin, and the way balance shifts with each step. Walking unmasks habitual thought loops and gives perspective. The body in motion and the mind in quiet often produce simple, genuine solutions to problems that felt complicated when seated and overstimulated. Recognize that silence can be uncomfortable, especially at first. The mind will try to fill it with worry, planning, or unproductive replay. Treat this discomfort like resistance in training and lean into it with curiosity rather than avoidance. Ask the mind what it needs to feel safer, and then test practical steps such as scheduling tasks or setting clearer boundaries. Each courageous return to silence reduces the intensity of that resistance. Use silence to refine values and priorities. Once per week, sit quietly and ask which commitments brought energy and which drained it. Note 3 things to stop, 3 things to start, and 1 small experiment to test a new direction. This practice keeps life aligned with real purpose rather than fuzzy intentions. Practice a simple nightly silence ritual. Before bed, set aside 10 minutes to review the day in quiet and list 2 wins and 1 clear adjustment for tomorrow. Framing reflection this way balances recognition and correction and reduces the mental replay that interferes with sleep. Over time, this habit strengthens a calm narrative about progress rather than a chaotic one about failure. When choosing between multiple options, use silence to map consequences. Close eyes and imagine taking each path in practical detail, including the small daily actions required. Notice which image produces steady energy, clarity, and willingness to do the work. That sensation is a reliable indicator of alignment with long-term intent. Teach others the value of silence by modeling it consistently. Children, colleagues, and friends mirror behaviors they see. Demonstrating short, purposeful pauses before speaking or deciding creates a culture of wiser responses. Offer a simple explanation, such as a brief pause helps choices be better, and invite others to try it for a week. Avoid spiritualizing silence as an automatic source of revelation. Silence clarifies but does not guarantee truth. Use insights gained in quiet as testable hypotheses rather than unquestionable commands. Take measured actions to test an idea, then return to quiet to evaluate results. This cycle keeps intuition honest and useful. Use sensory detail during silent moments to ground clarity. Describe the breath, the chair, the texture of clothing, and the sounds outside. Naming these elements prevents the mind from drifting into abstract, anxious loops and anchors attention to present reality where practical choices are formed. Extend silence into decision rituals for money, relationships, and health. Before large purchases, wait 24 hours with a silent review of need, impact, and alignment with values. Before important conversations, take 3 deep breaths and review a single intention, such as listen to understand or speak with honesty. Before training or medical choices, sit quietly and identify the smallest immediate step that moves toward a desired outcome. Measure progress in simple terms. Track how many silent sessions occurred this week and what decisions flowed from them. Small, measurable evidence encourages continued practice because it shows direct value. Over months, compare notes to see patterns of clarity and improved outcome. Finally, commit to the practice for at least 60 days to establish a reliable baseline. Sound training requires repetition, and 60 days offers enough samples to test whether silence leads to better decisions, calmer reactions, and clearer priorities. If progress stalls, vary length, timing, or environment while keeping return to the habit central. Silence is not an escape from life. It is the method by which life is examined, organized, and refined. Regular quiet builds a dependable inner compass that steadies action, reduces regret, and increases practical wisdom. Each disciplined pause trains judgment and sharpens the ability to move intentionally through problems and opportunities. Practice daily small and steady, and use what surfaces to inform immediate next steps and long-term direction. Over time, the quiet will become the clearest voice of reason available, and choices will reflect that clarity. Chapter 8c. Replace fear-based thinking with faith-driven action. Fear enters the mind quietly and often disguises itself as logic. It warns of loss, embarrassment, failure, or rejection, and then asks you to pause, delay, or avoid. At first, this seems reasonable because fear speaks in the language of protection. Over time, it becomes a pattern that limits growth and weakens initiative. Replacing fear-based thinking with faith-driven action does not mean denying risk or pretending outcomes are guaranteed. It means choosing to act from trust in effort, learning, and values rather than from the impulse to retreat. Fear-based thinking narrows attention. It focuses on what could go wrong and ignores what could be built. This narrowing makes options feel smaller than they are. Faith-driven action widens perspective. It accepts uncertainty while committing to progress. Faith in this sense is practical. It trusts that action produces feedback and feedback produces improvement. This trust creates movement even when clarity is incomplete. Begin by identifying how fear speaks in your mind. It often uses urgency or finality. It says now is not the time, or you are not ready, or the cost is too high. These messages feel compelling because they promise relief. Relief is temporary. Faith-driven action offers growth instead. Growth may feel uncomfortable at first, but it produces lasting strength. When fear appears, pause briefly and separate fact from story. Facts are observable and specific. Stories are interpretations layered with prediction. Write down the facts if needed. This simple step reduces emotional charge and restores balance. With facts in view, choose a small action that moves forward without reckless risk. Small actions weaken fear by proving that movement is possible. Faith-driven action depends on preparation rather than avoidance. Prepare skills, knowledge, and resources that reduce risk. Preparation converts anxiety into competence. Each hour spent learning or practicing strengthens confidence. Confidence built this way does not collapse under pressure because it is based on capacity. Fear often pushes toward perfection before action. This standard delays progress indefinitely. Faith-driven action accepts readiness as a range rather than a requirement. Begin when you are sufficiently prepared and improve through execution. Iteration builds capability faster than waiting. Language influences direction. Replace statements that focus on inability with statements that focus on effort. This is not positive thinking. It is accurate thinking. You may not know everything, but you can take the next step. This framing keeps attention on what is controllable and reduces paralysis. Use values as anchors when fear escalates. Ask which choice aligns with integrity, responsibility, and growth. Values remain steady when emotions fluctuate. Acting according to values builds self-respect regardless of outcome. This self-respect strengthens faith because it confirms that you can rely on your principles. Time pressure intensifies fear. Slow the pace intentionally. Take a few measured breaths and lengthen the exhale. This physiological shift lowers arousal and improves judgment. From this calmer state, evaluate options. Better decisions follow. Fear thrives on isolation. Share plans with a trusted person who values honesty and effort. External perspective challenges distorted thinking and provides accountability. Choose advisors who encourage responsibility rather than avoidance. Faith-driven action includes contingency planning. Planning for obstacles does not signal doubt. It signals wisdom. Identify likely challenges and prepare responses. This preparation reduces fear because unknowns become manageable. Avoid consuming content that amplifies fear. Constant exposure to alarming opinions increases reactivity. Curate inputs to support clarity and competence. Read material that emphasizes skill building and responsibility. Practice deliberate exposure to manageable risks. Choose challenges that stretch comfort without overwhelming capacity. This gradual exposure trains the nervous system to tolerate uncertainty. Each success recalibrates perception of risk. Failure should be approached as data. Analyze outcomes without self-attack. Extract lessons and adjust strategy. This response converts disappointment into progress and reduces fear of future attempts. Faith-driven action requires patience. Results may not appear immediately. Maintain effort and review process. Patience preserves commitment during quiet periods of growth. Rest supports courage. Fatigue magnifies fear and impairs judgment. Protect sleep and recovery to sustain balanced thinking. Service reduces fear by shifting focus outward. Contributing value to others provides perspective and meaning. Fear diminishes when purpose expands beyond self-protection. Develop a daily practice of courage. Choose one action each day that aligns with growth despite discomfort. Record these actions. Reviewing them builds evidence of capability. Acknowledge fear without obeying it. Acceptance reduces resistance. Resistance intensifies fear. Calm acknowledgement followed by action weakens its hold. Replace catastrophic predictions with probability assessment. Most feared outcomes are unlikely or manageable. Evaluate realistically and proceed with proportional action. Use deadlines to prevent endless deliberation. Set clear decision points. Commitment reduces mental loops and frees energy for execution. Faith-driven action also includes restraint. Not every risk is worth taking. Discernment is part of faith. Choose actions aligned with long-term values. Celebrate effort rather than outcome. Recognition reinforces behavior. Behavior creates results over time. As fear loses influence, faith gains ground. Faith here is not blind optimism. It is confidence in process, discipline, and learning. This confidence grows with each action taken. Over time, the mind learns a new pattern. Instead of asking how to avoid discomfort, it asks how to move forward responsibly. This shift transforms challenges into opportunities for skill and character development. Replacing fear-based thinking with faith-driven action is a practice refined daily. It requires awareness, preparation, and commitment. Through steady application, fear becomes a signal rather than a barrier, and action becomes a habit guided by trust in effort and values. Chapter 90: Create habits that strengthen discipline, patience, and consistency. Strong character is not built through sudden effort or rare motivation. It is built through habits that are practiced when progress feels slow and rewards feel distant. Discipline, patience, and consistency grow together, and habits are the structure that holds them in place. Without habits, effort depends on mood. With habits, effort becomes reliable. Creating habits that strengthen these qualities means designing your daily life so that growth happens almost automatically, even on difficult days. Discipline is often misunderstood as force. In reality, discipline is order. It is the removal of unnecessary choices so energy can be used where it matters. A disciplined habit is one that is clear, simple, and repeatable. Start by choosing behaviors that are small enough to perform daily without resistance. When habits are too large, they trigger avoidance. When habits are modest, they build momentum. Momentum is what discipline feeds on. Patience develops when habits are measured in effort rather than outcome. Many people abandon habits because they expect fast results. Patience grows when you commit to a process without demanding immediate reward. This mindset shift changes the experience of time. Instead of waiting for results, you focus on completing the practice. Completion becomes success. This approach reduces frustration and keeps habits alive. Consistency is the bridge between intention and identity. What you do repeatedly becomes how you see yourself. If you show up daily for a habit, even briefly, you begin to trust your reliability. This trust strengthens self-respect. Self-respect fuels further consistency. This cycle builds strength quietly. Design habits around fixed points in your day. Attach new behaviors to routines that already exist. For example, practice reflection after waking or before sleep. This attachment reduces forgetfulness and resistance. Habits anchored to routine survive busy schedules better than those left to memory. Environment shapes behavior more than willpower. Arrange surroundings to support habits. Place tools where they are visible. Remove distractions that compete for attention. A supportive environment reduces the need for constant self-control. This reduction preserves energy for meaningful effort. Tracking habits builds awareness. Use a simple method to mark completion. Visual progress reinforces commitment. It provides proof of effort even when results are not visible. This proof strengthens patience. Expect resistance. Resistance does not mean failure. It signals growth. When resistance appears, reduce the habit temporarily rather than abandoning it. Consistency matters more than intensity. A shortened habit maintains identity and momentum. Habits strengthen patience by training delay tolerance. Choose practices that require waiting, such as saving money, skill development, or physical conditioning. These activities reward long-term commitment. Over time, patience becomes a natural response rather than a forced one. Discipline improves through clarity. Define habits precisely. Vague habits fail because they invite negotiation. Clear habits remove debate. For example, specify duration and timing. This clarity reduces mental friction. Consistency benefits from forgiveness. Missed days happen. Avoid harsh self-judgment. Resume immediately. The speed of return matters more than the absence of interruption. This attitude preserves long-term commitment. Rest supports disciplined habits. Exhaustion undermines follow-through. Schedule recovery intentionally. Sustainable habits respect energy limits. This respect prevents burnout and supports patience. Use habit stacking to reinforce consistency. Pair a challenging habit with an enjoyable one. This pairing increases adherence without reducing discipline. Enjoyment does not weaken habits. It supports them. Habits also shape emotional regulation. Practices like journaling or breathing exercises build patience during stress. These habits create space between impulse and action. This space strengthens discipline under pressure. Review habits weekly. Evaluate which ones support growth and which need adjustment. This review prevents stagnation. Habits evolve as goals change. Flexibility preserves relevance. Public commitment can strengthen consistency. Share habits with someone who values accountability. External expectation supports follow-through. Choose accountability that encourages responsibility rather than pressure. Avoid overloading your routine. Too many habits dilute focus. Prioritize habits with the highest impact. Mastery of a few habits outweighs shallow adherence to many. Celebrate adherence quietly. Acknowledge effort without excess reward. This acknowledgement reinforces identity without creating dependency on external validation. Habits should align with values. When habits reflect what matters, discipline feels purposeful. Purpose sustains patience. Patience sustains consistency. Over time, habits shift from effort to expression. What once required discipline becomes part of who you are. This transition marks true growth. Creating habits that strengthen discipline, patience, and consistency is an ongoing process. It requires design awareness and commitment. Small daily actions shape long-term character. Through steady practice, habits become the foundation of reliable progress and inner strength. Chapter 100. Use imagination daily to design your ideal future. The mind holds immense power when directed deliberately toward creation rather than reaction. Imagination is not idle daydreaming. It is a structured mental practice that designs the path you want to walk. Using imagination daily to design your ideal future means allocating time and focus to picture, plan, and rehearse the life you intend to live. This is not about predicting outcomes. It is about shaping behavior, decisions, and priorities so they naturally lead toward the future you envision. Without intentional imagination, the mind drifts, reacting to circumstances instead of crafting opportunities. Begin each day with a deliberate visualization session. Sit quietly and picture specific aspects of your ideal life. Focus on tangible details: where you are, what you are doing, how your environment looks and feels, and what habits you are practicing. Include sensations such as the feel of accomplishment, the rhythm of your daily routine, and the confidence you carry. By incorporating sensory details, imagination becomes concrete and actionable rather than abstract and fleeting. Imagination shapes goals by making them emotionally real. When you see yourself achieving a target vividly, the mind starts to recognize steps necessary to reach it. This mental rehearsal prepares the brain to identify opportunities and act decisively. Without this preparation, ideas remain nebulous and motivation fluctuates. By investing mental energy in imagined outcomes, you prime your behavior to align with them naturally. Daily practice strengthens neural pathways associated with creativity and problem solving. The more time spent imagining solutions, improvements, and desired states, the easier it becomes to generate innovative strategies in real time. Imagination is a rehearsal space where trial and error is safe. Decisions made within this mental framework tend to be faster and more confident because the mind has already tested options and weighed consequences. Focus imagination on actionable outcomes rather than vague desires. Instead of picturing wealth or happiness, in general terms, specify behaviors, routines, and results. See yourself completing projects, interacting with others constructively, managing resources wisely, and living according to your values. This specificity trains the brain to notice opportunities and take steps toward them. Ambiguous visualizations leave direction unclear and weaken consistency. Combine imagination with planning. After imagining an outcome, identify small steps that move toward it. If you visualize a healthier body, specify what exercises, meals, and sleep routines are required. If you visualize a professional milestone, outline the daily tasks, learning, and networking needed. Imagination is only fully effective when paired with action. The brain responds to mental rehearsal, but results require implementation. Imagination also strengthens resilience. When challenges arise, a clear mental picture of your goal provides a reference point. It allows you to see obstacles as temporary and specific steps as manageable rather than overwhelming. Repeated visualization reinforces confidence and reduces doubt because the mind has already rehearsed success under pressure. To prevent imagination from becoming idle fantasy, measure progress against tangible markers. Review what you envisioned and track whether behaviors are moving toward that vision. Adjust visualizations based on results. This feedback loop keeps imagination connected to reality and increases its impact on daily decision-making. Imagination can be enhanced by combining stillness with sensory awareness. Quiet moments amplify clarity and allow richer detail in mental rehearsal. Include touch, sight, sound, and even emotional tone to deepen the mental image. The richer the rehearsal, the stronger its influence on behavior. Avoid allowing imagination to dwell on fear or limitations. When negative scenarios appear, acknowledge them briefly, then redirect focus to constructive possibilities. The mind reacts to what it rehearses. Repeated focus on limitation reinforces hesitation. Consistent attention to desired outcomes trains the mind to prioritize opportunity and resourcefulness. Imagination is strengthened through reading, observing, and learning. Expose yourself to examples of innovation, success, and problem-solving. These inputs expand what the mind can visualize and create a richer repertoire of solutions. Knowledge fuels imagination. The two together allow practical and creative outcomes to emerge. Daily journaling enhances imagination. After mental rehearsal, write down the details of your envisioned day decisions or achievements. Recording these ideas concretizes them, increasing commitment and accountability. Writing also clarifies gaps between current reality and desired outcomes, providing insight into priorities and actions. Use imagination to rehearse interactions and decisions. Visualize conversations, negotiations, and challenges in advance. Include likely questions, obstacles, and responses. This rehearsal builds confidence, reduces hesitation, and improves performance in real life. Mental rehearsal strengthens the ability to adapt in real time because the brain has already anticipated variations. Imagination guides prioritization. When choices arise, recall the mental picture of your desired future. Ask which action aligns most closely with that vision. This reduces wasted effort and ensures daily decisions support long-term objectives rather than short-term impulses. Set boundaries for imagination to maintain focus. Avoid drifting into daydreams that are entertaining but non-productive. The most effective imagination is disciplined, structured, and intentional. Treat it like training: brief, consistent, and purposeful. Combine imagination with gratitude. Visualize desired outcomes while appreciating current resources, skills, and relationships. Gratitude strengthens motivation and reduces the pressure of comparison. It creates a balanced perspective that fuels persistence. Imagination also supports innovation. By rehearsing multiple pathways toward goals, you uncover alternatives and creative solutions. Flexibility arises naturally because the mind has tested options mentally before executing physically. Imagination exercises mental resilience against failure. When setbacks occur, recall the rehearsed ideal outcomes and the steps to recover. This reduces panic, encourages analysis, and allows action to remain strategic rather than reactive. Consistency is critical. Short daily sessions are more effective than sporadic long ones. The brain strengthens pathways through repetition. Even 10 minutes per day focused on imagining your ideal life produces compounding benefits. Imagination should inspire action immediately. Visualized ideas must translate into the first concrete steps each day. Action validates mental rehearsal and reinforces the habit. Without this conversion, imagination remains inert and fails to shape reality. Use imagination to design not only material outcomes but also habits, relationships, and character. Visualize how you approach challenges, respond to others, and carry yourself daily. Mental rehearsal for behavior shapes identity and creates alignment between thought, values, and action. Through daily intentional imagination, life becomes proactive rather than reactive. The mind identifies opportunity, guides decision-making, and sustains motivation. Habits, confidence, and persistence grow naturally as imagination provides a clear destination and actionable blueprint. Over time, consistent practice makes this mental process automatic, allowing vision to guide behavior even under pressure, uncertainty, or fatigue. Imagination is the foundation of intentional living. Daily application strengthens creativity, sharpens decision-making, builds confidence, and aligns effort with values. A disciplined, imaginative practice transforms abstract desires into tangible achievements, turning thought into a roadmap for an ideal future. Chapter 11. Commit to lifelong learning that sharpens wisdom and clarity. Lifelong learning is a commitment to sharpening the mind and expanding understanding beyond the limits of formal education. It is not a task to complete, but a continuous path that builds wisdom and clarity over time. The person who stops learning stagnates, while the one who seeks knowledge daily sharpens perception, judgment, and the ability to act with insight. Learning enhances life by providing tools to solve problems, make informed decisions, and navigate complexity with confidence. It is not about memorizing facts, it is about developing the capacity to think critically, adapt quickly, and act deliberately. Start by recognizing that learning occurs in many forms. Books, conversations, observation, practice, reflection, and challenges all contribute. Every interaction has the potential to teach if approached with intention. A committed learner listens actively, asks clarifying questions, and seeks to understand underlying principles rather than superficial details. This depth transforms information into wisdom that can be applied immediately in daily decisions. Curiosity is the fuel of lifelong learning. Maintain the habit of asking why, how, and what can be improved. Challenge assumptions and explore perspectives different from your own. Each question opens new pathways in the mind and strengthens the ability to evaluate choices critically. Curiosity requires courage because it often exposes ignorance or discomfort, but these moments are where true clarity begins. Consistency is essential. Allocate time daily to learn something meaningful. Even brief sessions accumulate over weeks and months. Small, regular efforts produce long-term transformation. Learning becomes a habit when it is embedded into routines and treated as essential rather than optional. Practical application solidifies learning. Knowledge without action remains abstract. Each insight gained should be tested through behavior, experimentation, or problem-solving. This process converts theory into competence. Experience reinforces understanding more strongly than passive reading or listening. Mistakes along the way are valuable because they provide immediate feedback that deepens comprehension. Reflection amplifies the power of learning. After gaining new knowledge, consider how it interacts with existing beliefs, values, and goals. Ask what adjustments are needed in behavior, priorities, or thought patterns. Reflection converts raw information into strategic insight. The practice of reviewing experiences, successes, and failures strengthens judgment and prevents repeated errors. Seek mentorship and guidance. Learning accelerates when it is informed by those with more experience or different perspectives. Mentors provide feedback, challenge blind spots, and model disciplined thought processes. Observe not only what they know, but how they approach problems, make decisions, and maintain clarity under pressure. Embrace the discomfort of being wrong. Lifelong learning requires admitting gaps in knowledge. Avoiding mistakes limits growth. Facing gaps with humility encourages rapid improvement. The ability to accept correction without ego interference strengthens judgment, fosters adaptability, and builds resilience. Diversity in learning sources enhances clarity. Engage with subjects outside immediate expertise to cultivate flexible thinking. Philosophy, science, history, art, and practical skills all contribute to understanding cause, effect, and human behavior. Cross-disciplinary knowledge allows the mind to recognize patterns, anticipate challenges, and innovate solutions. Set specific learning goals that challenge the mind without overwhelming it. Goals should be measurable and tied to growth objectives. This focus prevents aimless consumption of information and ensures learning aligns with long-term development. Goals guide selection of material, methods, and time allocation. Active note-taking reinforces retention. Record insights, questions, and observations in a structured way. Writing consolidates memory and encourages deeper processing of ideas. Reviewing notes periodically transforms scattered pieces of information into coherent frameworks that can be applied when making important decisions. Engage in discussion and debate. Articulating ideas to others tests understanding and reveals gaps. Listening carefully to differing opinions exposes blind spots and strengthens reasoning skills. Learning becomes a dynamic exchange rather than passive absorption. Prioritize learning that improves judgment and practical competence. Information that cannot inform action provides minimal long-term benefit. Seek lessons that enhance decision-making, problem-solving, leadership, and personal growth. Apply insights immediately in ways that affect work, relationships, and daily routines. Balance learning with reflection and action. Too much information without integration leads to confusion. Implement what is learned to solidify clarity. Use observation and feedback to refine understanding continuously. Each cycle of learning, applying, and reviewing strengthens mental acuity. Develop patience in the learning process. Complex skills, nuanced understanding, and personal growth unfold over time. Avoid rushing for instant mastery. Consistent effort and repeated exposure to ideas gradually sharpen insight. Patience prevents frustration and supports long-term retention. Adopt a mindset that values wisdom over recognition. Learning for the sake of appearing knowledgeable or impressing others is shallow. True clarity emerges when curiosity and integrity drive the pursuit of understanding. Let the aim be competence, clarity, and the ability to make sound decisions rather than external validation. Use challenges as learning opportunities. Difficult situations reveal gaps in knowledge and capability. Approach challenges deliberately, analyzing outcomes and extracting lessons. Each obstacle faced and understood expands capacity for future decisions. Experience becomes a teacher when paired with reflection and attention. Technology can enhance learning when used intentionally. Select resources that provide accurate, relevant, and structured information. Avoid distractions or endless superficial content. The quality of learning inputs directly affects clarity and wisdom gained. Integrate physical and mental learning. Discipline of the body supports discipline of the mind. Practices such as exercise, meditation, and focused routines improve concentration, memory, and cognitive flexibility. A healthy body sustains a sharp and resilient mind. Teach others to reinforce learning. Explaining concepts and mentoring reinforces your own understanding and builds clarity. Knowledge internalized enough to guide someone else becomes actionable wisdom. Teaching also uncovers gaps that require refinement. Commitment to lifelong learning transforms perspective. Life becomes a continuous opportunity for improvement. Decisions are guided by experience, insight, and tested principles rather than assumption or reaction. Clarity replaces confusion, and wisdom guides judgment. Adopt daily routines that combine reading, reflection, note-taking, and application. This disciplined integration ensures learning is not passive but actively shapes behavior and thinking. Over time, knowledge accumulates into a coherent framework that supports complex problem-solving and strategic action. Lifelong learning strengthens resilience. A mind that continuously grows can adapt to change, anticipate challenges, and recover from setbacks. Knowledge provides options, reduces fear, and enhances confidence in decision-making. The capacity to learn becomes a lifelong advantage. Commit to learning not as a goal but as a lifestyle. Approach each day as an opportunity to absorb, understand, and apply knowledge. By practicing disciplined curiosity, reflection, and action, Clarity sharpens, wisdom deepens, and personal growth becomes a permanent trajectory. The habit of continuous learning is a foundation for a life of insight, effectiveness, and purpose. Each day devoted to gaining knowledge, analyzing experience, and applying lessons builds cumulative advantage. Wisdom becomes practical guidance, and clarity directs behavior with precision and confidence. Over a lifetime, the mind trained in this way remains agile, focused, and capable of creating meaningful results in every area of life. Chapter 12. Serve others with integrity to expand inner and outer wealth. Serving others with integrity transforms life in ways that are both practical and profound. True service is not about recognition or reward. It is a deliberate choice to act in alignment with principles, values, and honesty while contributing value to people, communities, and causes. Serving with integrity strengthens character, builds trust, and expands both inner fulfillment and tangible success. When actions are consistent with moral principles, relationships deepen, opportunities increase, and reputation grows naturally, creating a cycle of mutual benefit. Integrity ensures that service is reliable, dependable, and meaningful, which distinguishes superficial efforts from lasting impact. Begin by evaluating what you can offer that aligns with your skills, knowledge, and character. Service is most effective when it is authentic and sustainable. Attempting to serve in ways that do not match your strengths or values leads to frustration and undermines credibility. Identify tasks, contributions, or guidance you can provide that create real benefit for others and reflect who you are. By aligning ability with opportunity, service becomes a natural extension of your purpose. Integrity requires honesty and transparency. Commit to doing what you say you will do and avoid embellishing intentions or results. Consistency between words and actions fosters trust. People respond to reliability more strongly than to occasional gestures of generosity. Trust built over time opens doors for collaboration, partnership, and influence that otherwise remain closed. Service expands inner wealth because it develops empathy, understanding, and resilience. Engaging with the needs of others cultivates perspective and gratitude. Observing struggles, challenges, and successes beyond yourself fosters patience, compassion, and emotional intelligence. These qualities enhance relationships, improve decision-making, and reduce unnecessary conflict. Emotional wealth provides clarity in judgment, steadiness under pressure, and confidence in action. Outer wealth grows as a natural byproduct of effective service. Opportunities, collaborations, and reputation are cultivated when others recognize the value you provide. People are more willing to support, partner with, or recommend individuals who act consistently with integrity. Tangible benefits follow from consistent contribution without compromising principles. Service is not a transactional strategy, but a long-term approach that multiplies returns while strengthening character. Develop the habit of listening before acting. Understanding the needs of others is critical. Avoid assumptions or imposing solutions without awareness. Ask questions, observe carefully, and assess what will create genuine impact. Service without understanding often misses the mark and diminishes credibility. Listening also reinforces humility and patience, essential qualities for meaningful engagement. Balance generosity with discernment. Serving others should not compromise personal boundaries, values, or resources. Identify where efforts create the most impact and avoid overextension. Consistent, focused contribution is more powerful than scattered, unfocused attempts. Sustainability ensures that service is a lasting habit rather than occasional bursts. Integrate service into daily life. Small acts of help, guidance, or encouragement compound over time. Daily contributions, even minor, reinforce character and create momentum. Acts such as offering advice, assisting with tasks, or providing support build trust and connection steadily. Regular practice converts service from an occasional effort to a defining principle of behavior. Lead by example. Demonstrate integrity and value in everyday actions. Others observe behaviors more than intentions. Consistently showing respect, fairness, and ethical conduct strengthens influence and credibility. Leadership rooted in integrity inspires voluntary followership rather than coerced compliance. Reflect on the impact of service regularly. Assess what actions brought positive results and where improvement is needed. Reflection ensures alignment between intentions and outcomes and reinforces learning. Use this insight to refine approach, deepen impact, and increase effectiveness. Service requires emotional resilience. Not all efforts are received positively. Criticism, rejection, or misunderstanding are inevitable. Maintain commitment without resentment and adjust approach when necessary. Resilience strengthens inner wealth by teaching patience, self-control, and the ability to persevere in the face of challenges. Practice humility. Recognize that service is not about elevating yourself but about supporting others. Avoid seeking recognition or validation. Humility strengthens integrity because actions are guided by values rather than desire for approval. Over time, quiet, consistent service generates influence and respect that superficial gestures cannot replicate. Document contributions and lessons. Record insights gained from serving others, including successes, challenges, and outcomes. This documentation provides clarity, tracks growth, and offers reference for future decisions. Reflection converts experience into structured understanding, enhancing both wisdom and strategy. Service also strengthens collaboration. Working with others toward shared goals improves communication, negotiation, and problem-solving skills. These abilities expand both personal and professional capacity. Integrity ensures that collaboration is productive and relationships remain mutually respectful. Develop strategic generosity. Focus contributions where they create ripple effects, empowering others to help in turn. Effective service multiplies impact because it encourages initiative, autonomy, and self-reliance in those served. Generosity guided by insight and planning is sustainable and powerful. Time management is essential. Allocate attention to service without neglecting personal responsibilities. Balanced contribution preserves energy, focus, and effectiveness. Overcommitting dilutes quality, undermines credibility, and may create stress that diminishes inner wealth. Use service as a means of practicing accountability. Commit to completing tasks and follow through on promises. Accountability strengthens trust and demonstrates reliability. Reliable service builds a reputation that attracts opportunities and collaboration naturally. Service nurtures emotional intelligence. Understanding others' perspectives, anticipating needs, and responding appropriately are skills strengthened through consistent engagement. Emotional intelligence improves negotiation, leadership, and decision-making in both personal and professional contexts. Challenge yourself to extend service beyond comfort zones. Reach people or situations that require effort, creativity, or courage. Stretching builds confidence and reveals previously untapped abilities. Courage combined with integrity increases both inner fulfillment and external influence. Integrate ethical reflection into service. Examine whether actions align with principles, long-term vision, and broader impact. Avoid shortcuts or compromises that provide immediate advantage but erode trust or moral authority. Ethical consistency enhances credibility, strengthens relationships, and reinforces inner satisfaction. Serving others with integrity is a daily practice that builds character, deepens understanding, and generates opportunities. Over time, the habit transforms personal identity, making contribution a defining element of life. Inner wealth arises from the development of empathy, patience, resilience, and emotional intelligence. Outer wealth emerges naturally as trust, reputation, and opportunity expand through consistent, principled service. Commitment to this path produces a life of meaningful impact, steady growth, and enduring fulfillment. Chapter 13: Master emotional control to respond wisely under pressure. Emotions are powerful forces that influence every decision we make, often without conscious awareness. Mastering emotional control is not about suppressing feelings or pretending they do not exist. It is about recognizing, understanding, and directing them in ways that support clarity, decision-making, and constructive action. People who respond wisely under pressure are not devoid of emotion. They have trained themselves to observe feelings without becoming dominated by them. Emotional control provides the mental space needed to think strategically, communicate effectively, and act with integrity even in stressful situations. Start by developing awareness of emotional patterns. Pay attention to triggers that provoke anger, fear, frustration, or impatience. Notice how the body reacts: tightened muscles, faster heartbeat, shallow breathing. Observing these signs allows early detection before emotions escalate into impulsive reactions. Awareness is the first step toward mastery because it transforms automatic responses into conscious choices. Labeling emotions accurately strengthens control. Instead of vague statements like, "I feel bad," identify the specific feeling: anxiety, disappointment, irritation, or overwhelm. Naming emotions reduces intensity by creating distance between the self and the emotional response. This clarity allows a rational mind to participate in choosing the next action. Practice pause and breath control. When a strong emotional response arises, take a moment to breathe deeply and intentionally. Focus on the exhale to slow physiological arousal. This brief pause interrupts the automatic reaction, allowing reason to enter the process. Over time, pausing before responding becomes a natural reflex, even in high-pressure situations. Cognitive reframing is essential. Challenge automatic interpretations that amplify stress. Ask whether a situation is as threatening as it seems or whether assumptions are distorting reality. Reframing does not deny difficulty. It adjusts perspective to prioritize solutions over panic. A mind that sees options rather than threats is empowered rather than paralyzed. Develop emotional resilience through exposure. Seek situations that require composure and deliberate response. Each encounter strengthens capacity to handle future challenges. Emotional resilience is built progressively, and repeated practice in controlled contexts prepares the mind for more intense circumstances. Use reflection to consolidate learning. After emotionally charged events, review how feelings influenced thoughts and actions. Identify what worked, what escalated tension, and what could be adjusted. Reflection strengthens self-awareness and creates a library of strategies for future situations. Anchor responses in values. Emotions fluctuate, but core principles provide a steady guide. Ask whether a reaction aligns with integrity, responsibility, and long-term goals. Aligning action with values prevents destructive impulses and maintains credibility and self-respect. Practice gratitude to stabilize emotion. Recognizing aspects of life that are positive reduces reactivity and increases patience. Gratitude shifts attention from immediate stressors to perspective, diminishing emotional volatility. Develop mental rehearsal techniques. Visualize high-pressure scenarios and practice calm, strategic responses mentally before encountering them in real life. Mental rehearsal strengthens neural pathways for controlled action and reduces panic when actual stress occurs. Limit exposure to triggers when possible without avoiding growth opportunities. Constant bombardment of stress amplifies emotional fatigue. Strategic management of environment supports consistent composure. Choose situations that challenge without overwhelming capacity. Focus on physical health to support emotional control. Adequate sleep, nutrition, and movement directly influence emotional regulation. Fatigue and poor physical condition magnify reactivity and reduce clarity. Maintaining the body stabilizes the mind. Practice empathetic listening. Understanding perspectives of others during tense interactions reduces emotional escalation. Empathy fosters calm dialogue, improves problem solving, and strengthens relationships under pressure. Responding thoughtfully rather than reactively builds trust and influence. Set intentions for emotional conduct. Begin each day defining how you want to respond in challenging moments. Intentions prime the mind to act according to desired behavior rather than impulse. Consistent intention shapes habit and strengthens control over time. Develop self-talk strategies. Replace panicked or self-critical thoughts with constructive, solution-oriented statements. Internal dialogue shapes perception of events and influences physiological response. Focused self-talk reinforces calm and intentional action. Prioritize action over rumination. Emotions intensify when attention remains on problem without movement. Identify small, immediate steps to address the situation. Action provides a sense of control, reduces anxiety, and channels energy productively. Observe patterns in others' emotional responses. Learning from role models who respond effectively under pressure provides strategies to emulate. Note body language, phrasing, and decision-making processes to incorporate into personal practice. Recognize the temporary nature of strong emotions. Most intense reactions peak quickly and then subside. Awareness of this natural cycle reduces urgency to act impulsively. Patience during emotional peaks allows strategic decision-making. Combine emotional control with problem-solving. Responding calmly without addressing the underlying challenge achieves little. Controlled emotion allows clear evaluation of options, weighing consequences, and choosing action that aligns with goals. Avoid blame and projection. Strong emotions often provoke assigning fault to others. Taking responsibility for one's reaction maintains clarity and authority. Blame intensifies conflict and undermines decision-making. Controlled response focuses on solutions and actionable steps. Develop routines for emotional reset. Daily meditation, reflection, journaling, or quiet contemplation strengthens capacity to respond under pressure. Regular practice increases baseline composure and reduces susceptibility to overreaction. Recognize that mastering emotional control is a lifelong practice. Each experience, challenge, and interaction provides opportunity to refine awareness, response, and resilience. Consistent application strengthens both personal and professional effectiveness, creating reliability, influence, and mental strength. Mastering emotional control enables response to pressure with wisdom rather than instinct. The ability to observe, regulate, and direct emotions transforms challenges into opportunities for strategic action, strengthens relationships, and supports consistent alignment with values and goals. Over time, disciplined practice embeds composure, clarity, and confidence into every decision, creating an internal environment where stress serves insight rather than disruption. Chapter 400 is in Strengthen Faith Through Action Aligned with Higher Values. Faith is more than belief, it is trust in the unseen, confidence in purpose, and reliance on principles that guide decisions. Strengthening faith requires translating belief into deliberate action, aligning choices with values that reflect integrity, honesty, and higher purpose. Faith becomes tangible not through passive hope, but through consistent, intentional behavior that mirrors what one believes. When actions are congruent with principles, uncertainty becomes manageable, obstacles are met with resilience, and life moves forward with direction and momentum. Each step taken in alignment with higher values reinforces trust in oneself and the broader path, creating a foundation of inner certainty that supports growth in all areas. Begin by clarifying core values. Identify the principles that define who you want to be and what your life stands for. Values act as a compass in situations where the outcome is unknown or circumstances feel overwhelming. Without clear values, faith becomes vague and easily shaken. A defined set of higher values transforms faith from abstract belief into actionable guidance. Translate values into specific behaviors. Faith grows when belief is demonstrated through choices, habits, and routines. If honesty is a core value, practice transparency even when it is inconvenient. If service is central, commit to helping others consistently. Alignment between internal belief and external behavior strengthens confidence in the path ahead. Commit to incremental actions. Faith is reinforced through repeated demonstrations of integrity and purpose, even in small steps. Each decision that aligns with values builds evidence that your belief system works in practice. This cumulative proof develops trust in yourself, reinforcing resilience during challenges. Resist reliance on external validation. Faith anchored in values does not depend on approval or recognition. Consistency in action strengthens internal confidence rather than seeking confirmation from circumstances or others. Trust develops internally as a result of seeing oneself act with integrity, which is more durable than praise or reward. Practice disciplined decision-making. When faced with options, evaluate which choice aligns most closely with higher principles. Acting consistently according to values, especially when difficult, strengthens faith. Over time, decision-making becomes clearer and less susceptible to doubt or external pressure. Reflect on past experiences where acting in alignment with values produced positive outcomes. Recall times when perseverance, honesty, or patience led to success or personal growth. Remembering these instances reinforces the connection between action and results, strengthening confidence in future decisions. Pair faith with responsibility. Belief without corresponding effort is ineffective. Faith is a foundation, but action is the structure built upon it. Show up, fulfill commitments, and take deliberate steps toward goals. Action demonstrates belief in tangible ways, which deepens trust in both abilities and direction. Use challenges as opportunities to practice alignment. Difficult situations often reveal gaps between values and behavior. Meeting obstacles with integrity, patience, and courage strengthens faith, because each successful response becomes evidence that values guide action effectively. Adversity becomes a teacher, reinforcing confidence and resolve. Monitor consistency across contexts. Faith grows when values are practiced universally, not selectively. Acting ethically and purposefully in private and public life creates stability in character. Inconsistency weakens trust and invites doubt. Daily attention to alignment ensures that principles remain active in every decision. Develop accountability systems. Sharing commitments with mentors, peers, or trusted advisors reinforces adherence to values. External accountability provides perspective, encourages reflection, and supports action during moments of uncertainty. Accountability enhances faith by confirming that alignment is observable and measurable. Integrate mindfulness to observe alignment. Awareness of thoughts, emotions, and behaviors allows adjustment before actions deviate from core principles. Mindfulness bridges intention and execution, ensuring that faith is actively demonstrated rather than passively assumed. Embrace the practice of gratitude. Recognizing what has been achieved through aligned action reinforces faith in the process. Gratitude shifts attention from obstacles to evidence of progress, strengthening confidence in continued growth. Visualize outcomes grounded in values, imagining future scenarios where decisions and actions align with principles enhances readiness and commitment. Mental rehearsal strengthens the capacity to act consistently even under pressure, deepening faith through preparation. Avoid compromise that undermines integrity. Short-term gains achieved by acting against values weaken confidence and erode trust in oneself. Long-term faith is cultivated through disciplined adherence to principles, even when temptation or pressure challenges resolve. Balance patience with persistence. Faith requires both endurance and proactive effort. Some results take time, but consistent action aligned with values ensures forward momentum. Patience allows for natural timing, and persistence sustains commitment despite delays. Reflect on the broader impact of aligned action. Recognize that choices grounded in integrity benefit not only oneself but others and the larger system. Seeing the ripple effects of principled behavior strengthens the belief that living by values produces meaningful outcomes. Engage in continuous learning to refine values and actions. Faith deepens as understanding grows and the ability to navigate complex situations with integrity improves. Reflection and learning prevent stagnation and ensure that action remains aligned with both principle and evolving insight. Develop rituals that reinforce alignment. Daily practices such as journaling, planning, or reviewing decisions support consistency in action. Rituals make the abstract tangible and provide structure for regular demonstration of values. Observe and learn from role models. Studying people who consistently act in alignment with high principles under pressure provides insight, inspiration, and practical strategies. Modeling behavior reinforces confidence that values can guide action successfully. Faith reinforced through aligned action becomes a foundation for resilience, clarity, and strategic decision-making. It transforms uncertainty into confidence, obstacles into lessons, and goals into achievable outcomes. Over time, consistent adherence to principles produces a life where decisions, actions, and results are harmonized, creating strength, purpose, and trust in oneself and in the process of growth. Chapter 15v turn setbacks into lessons that build mental resilience. Setbacks are inevitable in life, but how they are approached determines whether they become obstacles or opportunities. Turning setbacks into lessons requires shifting perspective from frustration or defeat to analysis and understanding. Each challenge contains information about what worked, what didn't, and what can be improved. By examining experiences critically and objectively, the mind transforms difficulty into practical knowledge and strengthens resilience. Mental resilience is the capacity to remain steady, focused and resourceful under pressure, and setbacks are the raw material from which it is forged. Begin by accepting responsibility for the situation without self, blame, or avoidance. Acknowledging your role provides clarity about what can be controlled and what cannot. Avoid dwelling on circumstances beyond influence. Focusing on actionable elements empowers you to extract value from the experience rather than remaining stuck in regret or denial. Analyze the setback carefully. Break it down into components, identifying decisions, actions, and external factors that contributed. Understanding the mechanics of the failure or obstacle illuminates patterns and gaps in judgment or preparation. This step transforms emotional reactions into strategic insight. Extract actionable lessons. Ask what practical adjustments can be made to prevent recurrence or improve outcomes next time. Each setback becomes a guide for refinement, highlighting weaknesses, blind spots, or areas needing further development. When lessons are identified and applied, obstacles become accelerators of growth rather than deterrents. Practice emotional regulation during setbacks. Strong feelings of disappointment, anger, or fear are natural, but allowing them to dominate thinking impairs judgment. Use deep breathing, reflection, and mindfulness to maintain composure. Emotional control enhances problem-solving, decision-making, and the ability to respond constructively. Adopt a mindset that reframes setbacks as temporary and specific rather than permanent and universal. Avoid generalizing failure as a reflection of personal inadequacy. Viewing each challenge as a discrete event with identifiable causes allows focused learning and prevents discouragement from undermining motivation. Document experiences and lessons. Writing down setbacks, decisions made, and insights gained creates a resource for future reflection. Journaling consolidates understanding, highlights progress, and allows evaluation of repeated patterns. Reviewing past entries reinforces confidence that difficulties can be managed and learned from effectively. Develop contingency strategies. Anticipate potential obstacles and plan responses in advance. Preparation reduces panic when challenges arise and creates flexibility in handling unexpected events. Mental rehearsal strengthens resilience by allowing the mind to practice calm, calculated responses before real crises occur. Build a support system. Surround yourself with mentors, peers, or colleagues who provide perspective, guidance, and constructive feedback. Others' experiences offer insights that may not be apparent from a personal vantage point. Support strengthens confidence, provides alternative approaches, and reinforces the mindset that setbacks are manageable and educational. Focus on incremental recovery. Avoid trying to resolve everything at once. Break the response into manageable steps and celebrate small victories along the way. Gradual progress reinforces momentum, builds confidence, and demonstrates that setbacks can be overcome systematically. Embrace adaptability. Flexibility in thinking and approach allows rapid adjustment when initial strategies fail. Resilient individuals view change as an opportunity for improvement rather than a threat. The ability to pivot while maintaining core goals strengthens mental stamina and resourcefulness. Turn reflection into preventive action. Lessons gained from setbacks should inform future decisions, planning, and preparation. Anticipate similar challenges and apply insights proactively. This foresight reduces recurrence and increases efficiency in achieving objectives. Cultivate patience. Learning from setbacks is rarely immediate. Insights often emerge gradually through repeated reflection and experience. Allow time for understanding to deepen and for strategies to evolve. Patience ensures that lessons are integrated thoroughly rather than superficially. Reinforce resilience through routine challenges. Regularly engage in tasks that require persistence, problem-solving, and composure under pressure. Smaller, controlled obstacles build the mental muscles needed to handle larger, unpredictable setbacks with calm and strategic thinking. Focus on self-improvement rather than comparison. Evaluate setbacks based on personal standards and growth rather than external benchmarks. This internal orientation maintains motivation and ensures lessons are relevant to your goals and capacities. Recognize patterns in setbacks. Recurring challenges often indicate underlying behaviors, decisions, or assumptions that require adjustment. Identifying these patterns provides insight for systemic improvement and strengthens the ability to respond effectively in future situations. Integrate reflection with planning. After analyzing a setback, Create a clear, step-by-step plan for moving forward. Each step should directly address the lessons learned and aim to mitigate weaknesses revealed. Planning translates insight into action and reinforces confidence in the ability to navigate challenges. Maintain a growth-oriented mindset. View each setback as evidence that growth is occurring, even when progress is slow or results are not immediately visible. This perspective transforms adversity into motivation rather than discouragement. Use setbacks to enhance creativity. Obstacles often require novel approaches, forcing the mind to generate alternatives. Cultivating innovative thinking in response to challenges expands problem-solving capacity and strengthens confidence in navigating uncertainty. Document successes following setbacks. Recognizing achievements that emerge after challenges reinforces the lesson that obstacles are temporary and surmountable. This record serves as both motivation and a practical guide for future difficulties. Commit to continuous learning from experience. Every setback, regardless of size or impact, contains valuable information. Consistently analyzing and applying lessons builds a cumulative advantage, creating a mind that is increasingly resilient, adaptive, and prepared to face challenges without being overwhelmed. Mental resilience developed through setbacks is a cumulative process. Each failure or obstacle becomes a stepping stone when approached intentionally. By observing, analyzing, and applying lessons consistently, the mind gains confidence, focus, and clarity. Over time, setbacks no longer induce fear or paralysis. They become opportunities to strengthen judgment, enhance problem-solving skills, and act decisively under pressure, transforming challenges into engines of personal growth and mastery. Chapter 16Z. Discipline your time to honor purpose, health, and growth. Time is the most valuable resource a person possesses because it cannot be earned back once spent. Discipline over time is not about rigid schedules or deprivation. It is about intentional allocation of hours to activities that honor purpose, support health, and accelerate growth. Every decision about how time is used either strengthens or diminishes your ability to achieve goals and maintain balance. Developing disciplined time management is a practice that combines awareness, planning, prioritization, and self-control to create a life of meaning and effectiveness. Start by clarifying priorities. Identify what truly matters in your life across multiple dimensions: personal purpose, health, relationships, learning, and professional objectives. Understanding priorities provides a framework for allocating time intentionally, ensuring that each hour contributes to long-term goals rather than being consumed by distractions or minor urgencies. Track current time use. Observe where hours are spent during a typical day, including work, rest, leisure, and digital engagement. This audit reveals habits that waste energy or undermine priorities. Awareness is essential before any meaningful change can occur, because it identifies patterns and areas needing adjustment. Plan daily and weekly schedules intentionally. Allocate blocks of time for high-value activities such as focused work, physical exercise, learning, reflection, and meaningful relationships. Structured planning ensures that important tasks receive attention before they are crowded out by less significant demands. Set boundaries to protect focused time. Minimize interruptions, distractions, and multitasking that fragment attention and reduce effectiveness. Communicate clearly with others about availability and limits to preserve uninterrupted blocks for priority work. Boundaries reinforce discipline and create space for meaningful engagement. Incorporate deliberate breaks. Time discipline does not mean continuous work without rest. Rest and recovery enhance productivity, creativity, and mental clarity. Structured pauses prevent burnout and maintain high-quality performance in all areas of life. Use time as a tool for health. Schedule regular exercise, balanced meals, and restorative sleep. Discipline in these areas supports energy levels, mental focus, and resilience. Time invested in physical well-being directly amplifies the capacity for growth and purpose-driven action. Apply the principle of first things first. Address the most important and impactful tasks before attending to less critical or urgent matters. Prioritizing value ensures that time is aligned with long-term goals rather than consumed by short-term distractions or reactive behaviors. Break larger goals into manageable steps. Distributing effort over time prevents overwhelm and supports consistent progress. Small, deliberate actions accumulate into significant achievement when practiced with discipline. Focused consistency transforms vision into reality. Eliminate low-value activities. Identify habits, entertainment, or social interactions that consume disproportionate time without contributing meaningfully to growth, health, or purpose. Reducing or removing these activities frees hours for constructive engagement and meaningful results. Establish morning and evening routines. Starting the day with intentional action sets the tone for focus and discipline. Ending the day with reflection, planning, or review consolidates progress and prepares the mind for consistent performance. Routines convert intention into habit and reinforce time mastery. Leverage deadlines and time limits. Constraining tasks to defined periods enhances focus and prevents procrastination. Setting clear boundaries for work encourages efficiency and prioritization, creating momentum and reducing wasted hours. Practice single tasking over multitasking. Concentrating on one task at a time increases quality, reduces errors, and improves learning and retention. Focused attention is a key aspect of disciplined time use because scattered effort diminishes results despite apparent busyness. Use technology intentionally. Devices can support or disrupt time discipline. Set tools to prioritize essential work, limit social media consumption, and automate repetitive tasks. Harness technology as an ally rather than allowing it to fragment attention. Reflect regularly on time use. Evaluate whether daily habits align with purpose, health, and growth objectives. Adjust schedules, priorities, and approaches to maintain alignment. Reflection strengthens awareness and ensures continual improvement in time management. Integrate flexibility without sacrificing discipline. Unexpected events arise, but maintaining clarity on priorities allows adaptation without losing focus on essential objectives. Flexibility ensures that setbacks or changes do not derail progress or undermine long-term goals. Delegate and outsource where appropriate. Recognize tasks that do not require personal attention and assign them to others. Effective delegation preserves time for activities that align with purpose, health, and personal growth while maintaining responsibility for outcomes. Create accountability structures. Share time goals and schedules with mentors, peers, or colleagues who can provide oversight, encouragement, and perspective. Accountability reinforces consistency and reduces the likelihood of drifting into unproductive patterns. Focus on deep work periods. Allocate blocks for uninterrupted, high-concentration effort on tasks that drive meaningful results. Deep work accelerates skill development, problem-solving, and value creation, making disciplined time exponentially more effective. Balance time between immediate obligations and long-term growth. Allocate periods for urgent responsibilities, as well as activities that expand knowledge, skill, and personal development. Time discipline ensures that progress toward future goals is not sacrificed for short-term demands. Regularly review and adjust time allocations. Life circumstances, goals, and priorities evolve. Consistent evaluation and modification ensure that time remains aligned with purpose, maintains health, and fosters growth. Adaptation ensures that discipline is intentional rather than rigid. Maintain focus on energy management alongside time. Recognize periods of peak mental and physical energy and schedule high, priority, or demanding tasks during these windows. Matching effort to optimal performance times maximizes productivity and supports sustainable discipline. Integrate reflection on results. Assess how well time investments translate into progress toward purpose, health, and growth. Use insights to optimize future allocation, refine habits, and reinforce discipline. Awareness of outcomes sustains motivation and strengthens mastery of time. Disciplined time use builds cumulative advantage. Each day structured around purpose, health, and growth compounds over weeks and years. Intentional investment produces momentum that accelerates achievement, strengthens resilience, and cultivates self-mastery. Mastering time discipline is a holistic practice. It combines planning, prioritization, boundaries, reflection, and alignment with personal values. The person who honors time through disciplined action enhances capacity to achieve meaningful goals, sustain physical and mental well-being, and continuously grow. Over time, Intentional management of time transforms life into a structured, purposeful, and productive path where effort, focus, and attention yield measurable and fulfilling results. Chapter 7 Scene A. Speak words daily that reinforce belief, courage, and direction. Words shape reality because the way you speak to yourself and others influences thoughts, emotions, and actions. Speaking words daily that reinforce belief, courage, and direction is not about empty repetition or forced positivity. It is about deliberately choosing language that strengthens confidence, clarifies purpose, and energizes consistent action. Every word spoken is an opportunity to direct the mind toward constructive thought, to instill courage in moments of doubt, and to maintain focus on meaningful goals. The language you use internally and externally either builds or diminishes momentum, resilience, and clarity. Begin with self-awareness. Observe the language you use when thinking or speaking about yourself, your goals, and your environment. Identify words that weaken belief, induce fear, or create confusion. Replace these expressions with language that affirms ability, aligns with values, and communicates intention. Conscious awareness is essential to interrupt habitual negative patterns and replace them with empowering communication. Use affirmations intentionally. Speak clear statements that reinforce belief in personal capacity and the validity of your purpose. Choose phrases that feel authentic and actionable, reflecting what you can genuinely do or are committed to achieving. Repeating statements with conviction strengthens neural pathways, shaping perception and behavior toward confidence and courage. Frame challenges in constructive language. Instead of describing difficulties as threats or insurmountable, articulate them as opportunities for growth or steps toward mastery. Words that emphasize learning and capability reduce fear, increase focus, and promote creative problem-solving. Language that acknowledges challenge while emphasizing agency strengthens resilience and decision-making under pressure. Speak with precision about goals. Articulate intentions clearly and consistently to reinforce direction. Ambiguity in language often reflects ambiguity in thought and action. Clear verbalization of objectives maintains focus, aligns effort, and communicates purpose both to yourself and to others who may support or collaborate with you. Use positive reinforcement when addressing progress. Recognize small wins and articulate accomplishments to maintain motivation and momentum. Language that highlights progress reinforces belief in capability and validates consistent effort. Celebrating achievement through words enhances both confidence and determination. Eliminate language that diminishes self-efficacy. Avoid phrases rooted in doubt, complaint, or blame. Speaking in ways that absolve responsibility or minimize personal agency undermines courage and obscures direction. Choose words that affirm accountability, initiative, and proactive engagement. Practice speaking courageously in the face of uncertainty. Express intentions and commitments with clarity, even when outcomes are not guaranteed. Courageous language signals conviction internally and externally, shaping mindset, behavior, and the perceptions of others. Bold communication reinforces belief that action is possible and achievable. Integrate visualization with verbal reinforcement. Describe goals, actions, and outcomes vividly in spoken words, including specific details of what achieving success will look and feel like. The combination of speech and mental imagery strengthens focus, motivation, and the sense of inevitability regarding progress. Use daily reflection to calibrate language. Review the words spoken throughout the day and assess whether they supported belief, courage, and direction. Identify moments where speech reinforced negativity, fear, or distraction, and consciously adjust future communication. Consistent evaluation ensures language remains a tool for growth rather than a source of limitation. Engage in purposeful dialogue with others. Surround conversations with language that encourages belief and courage while maintaining clarity of direction. Avoid gossip, complaining, or fear-based discussions. Conversations are opportunities to practice constructive speech, strengthen resolve, and influence collective focus toward meaningful objectives. Develop a vocabulary of empowerment. Create words and phrases that naturally elicit confidence, motivation, and determination. Use these consistently when confronting challenges or reflecting on goals. A structured verbal repertoire simplifies deliberate communication and sustains mental alignment with purpose. Incorporate questions in speech that promote reflection and action, asking, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can I take one step forward today?" guides the mind toward problem solving and growth. Questions framed positively activate curiosity, insight, and intentional behavior. Avoid reinforcing fear in self-talk. Replace statements rooted in limitation with language emphasizing capacity and potential. Words have a neurological impact. Repeated expression of limitation strengthens doubt, while consistent articulation of possibility enhances confidence and initiative. Practice speaking with temporal clarity. Articulate immediate actions and future intentions distinctly. Words that connect present effort to long-term goals provide orientation and maintain motivation. Linking daily effort to ultimate purpose through speech reinforces consistency and strategic focus. Use storytelling to reinforce belief and courage. Narrate personal experiences of overcoming difficulty or achieving progress, highlighting intentional action and learned lessons. Storytelling transforms abstract principles into relatable and motivating examples, reinforcing both self-confidence and external influence. Combine speech with movement or physical action. Vocalizing intentions while taking deliberate steps toward goals reinforces alignment between thought, word, and behavior. Physical embodiment of language increases commitment, reduces internal conflict, and strengthens belief in personal agency. Apply consistency in daily practice. Speaking words aligned with belief, courage, and direction requires repetition. Daily articulation reinforces neural patterns, strengthens internal conviction, and sustains momentum even when external results lag. Persistence in speech mirrors persistence in action. Observe the emotional resonance of words. Words spoken with feeling carry more weight in shaping mindset than mechanical repetition. Engage emotional energy in speech to reinforce conviction, enhance motivation, and solidify focus. Language paired with emotion amplifies its effect on thought and behavior. Recognize the social influence of speech. Words spoken to others shape their perception, cooperation, and support. Constructive language inspires confidence, fosters collaboration, and reinforces shared purpose. Speaking with clarity and courage extends influence while reinforcing internal belief and direction. Document verbal commitments. Recording spoken intentions, affirmations, or reflections provides a reference to evaluate consistency, growth, and alignment with goals. Documentation strengthens accountability and reinforces the habit of deliberate, empowering speech. Avoid overcomplication or abstract phrasing. Speak in clear, direct language that reflects actionable steps, practical insight, and observable behaviors. Simplicity in speech enhances clarity, maintains focus, and ensures that words influence thought and action effectively. Integrate gratitude into speech. Expressing recognition for progress, support, and opportunity reinforces positivity, belief, and courage. Gratitude strengthens resilience by focusing attention on resources and possibilities rather than deficiencies or obstacles. Speaking words daily that reinforce belief, courage, and direction is a disciplined practice that strengthens thought, guides behavior, and cultivates resilience. Through intentional articulation, reflection, emotional engagement, and consistent alignment with values and goals, language becomes a tool for shaping reality. Over time, deliberate speech transforms mindset, amplifies motivation, clarifies purpose, and drives action, ensuring that words consistently support growth, confidence, and strategic forward movement in life. Chapter 18. Visualize success with clarity, feeling, and committed action. Visualization is a tool that turns abstract goals into tangible experiences by engaging the mind with clear images, strong feelings, and intentional action. Seeing success in the mind's eye is not mere daydreaming, it is a deliberate practice that trains focus, builds confidence, and activates the subconscious to identify opportunities aligned with objectives. To visualize effectively, clarity is essential. The mind must have a precise image of the desired outcome, including the environment, circumstances, and the actions required to achieve it. Vague or unfocused visualization lacks the power to influence behavior or decisions and fails to create actionable momentum. Begin by defining the outcome with precision. Describe in detail what success looks like, how it feels, and what measurable results indicate that it has been achieved. Include sensory elements, what you see, hear, and experience during the accomplishment. The more detailed and specific the mental image, the more the brain interprets it as a real possibility, which strengthens commitment and confidence. Incorporate emotional engagement. Feel the pride, satisfaction, and fulfillment associated with achieving the goal. Emotional intensity reinforces memory and focus, connecting the imagined success to motivational circuits in the brain. The mind responds to imagined emotions similarly to real experiences, so cultivating strong feeling enhances determination and reduces hesitation. Pair visualization with actionable steps. Picture not only the end goal, but also the process required to reach it. See yourself taking the specific actions, making decisions, and overcoming obstacles along the way. The combination of outcome and procedure trains the mind to anticipate challenges and prepare solutions in advance, creating a roadmap for actual execution. Use consistency to strengthen the practice. Visualize daily, ideally at the beginning of the day or in quiet moments when the mind is receptive. Repetition builds mental familiarity and reduces resistance when real-life opportunities or challenges arise. Consistent mental rehearsal strengthens focus and reinforces the belief that the goal is attainable. Integrate visualization with affirmations and verbal reinforcement. While imagining the successful outcome, speak statements that reinforce commitment, capability, and readiness to act. This multi-sensory approach, combining mental imagery, feeling, and words, enhances alignment between intention and action. Include potential obstacles in your visualization. Imagine possible challenges and how you respond calmly and effectively. Anticipating difficulty while mentally rehearsing solutions prepares the mind for resilience. Visualization is not about avoiding reality. It is about experiencing success alongside preparedness, building both confidence and practical readiness. Anchor visualization in current effort. Connect mental images with actions that are being taken in the present. See how each small step contributes to the larger outcome. Linking thought and action ensures that visualization does not remain passive, but actively informs decisions and motivates consistent behavior. Engage multiple senses to enhance vividness. Visualize not only the appearance of success, but also sounds, tactile experiences, smells, and the movement required to achieve it. Multi-sensory imagery strengthens the neural encoding of goals and increases mental rehearsal effectiveness. Evaluate and refine the mental image regularly. As knowledge and circumstances evolve, adjust the visualization to maintain relevance and precision. A dynamic approach ensures that the mind's focus remains aligned with the most effective path towards success. Combine visualization with gratitude. Recognize current progress and the resources available while imagining success. Gratitude amplifies confidence, reduces fear of failure, and reinforces the sense that achieving the goal is not only possible but supported by effort, preparation, and circumstances. Link visualization to identity. See yourself not only achieving the goal, but also embodying the qualities, habits, and mindset of the person capable of reaching it. Visualizing identity transformation reinforces behavior and decisions aligned with that version of yourself, accelerating progress. Practice situational visualization. Imagine performing specific tasks, presentations, or decisions in real contexts. Mental rehearsal of practical scenarios enhances preparedness, reduces anxiety, and improves performance when the moment arises. The mind becomes familiar with the actions, timing, and emotional control required for success. Use visualization to strengthen persistence. Picture overcoming setbacks and maintaining consistent effort. Seeing resilience and adaptability as part of the success story reduces fear of failure and reinforces commitment to continue despite challenges. Incorporate positive sensory triggers. Pair visualization with stimuli such as music, scent, or movement that energizes focus and creates emotional association. Associating physical or sensory cues with mental rehearsal deepens engagement and memory retention. Reflect on visualizations with journaling. Write down details of what was imagined, what feelings were experienced, and any insights gained. Journaling reinforces clarity, records progress, and provides a resource to track growth in visualization skills and commitment to action. Measure alignment between visualization and daily choices. Evaluate whether current actions, priorities, and behaviors are consistent with imagined outcomes. Adjust behavior to ensure that real-life efforts support the envisioned goal, maintaining congruence between thought, emotion, and action. Avoid over-reliance on imagination without execution. Visualization must be coupled with disciplined effort. Seeing success in the mind is ineffective if daily actions do not reflect the image. The power of visualization lies in its ability to guide and energize practical steps toward achievement. Integrate visualization with accountability. Share the envisioned outcome and plan with mentors or trusted peers who can provide feedback, support, and perspective. Accountability reinforces commitment and strengthens the link between mental rehearsal and tangible progress. Celebrate alignment between visualization and action. Recognize moments when effort, decision-making, and progress mirror the mental image of success. Acknowledging this alignment reinforces belief, maintains motivation, and strengthens the habit of intentional visualization combined with committed action. Visualization with clarity, feeling, and committed action is a comprehensive practice that harmonizes mind, emotion, and behavior toward achieving meaningful goals. When performed consistently, it transforms abstract aspirations into lived experience, prepares the mind to navigate challenges, and motivates deliberate steps that lead to success. This integration of precise imagery, emotional engagement, and practical action produces both confidence and competence, ensuring that vision becomes reality through purposeful execution. Chapter 19. Act consistently on intuition guided by conscience and truth. Intuition is an inner guidance system that operates through subtle awareness, insight, and instinct, signaling choices aligned with personal truth and values. Acting consistently on intuition requires learning to recognize its signals, trust them, and integrate them with conscience to ensure decisions reflect integrity, purpose, and ethical clarity. Intuition alone is powerful, but without the filter of conscience and alignment with truth, it can be misinterpreted or misapplied. Combining instinct with moral awareness ensures that decisions are not only effective but also responsible, sustainable, and aligned with higher principles. Start by cultivating self-awareness. Understanding your own values, priorities, and boundaries enhances the ability to distinguish genuine intuitive signals from wishful thinking or emotional impulses. Regular reflection, journaling, and mindful observation of reactions help clarify internal guidance. The clearer the sense of self, the more reliable intuition becomes. Pay attention to subtle cues in your mind and body. Intuition often communicates through quiet impressions, feelings of tension, excitement or clarity, and sudden insights that seem to arise spontaneously. Learning to notice these signals requires presence and attentiveness, as intuition rarely shouts but whispers in subtle ways that must be recognized and respected. Evaluate guidance through conscience. Before acting, consider whether the insight aligns with principles of integrity, honesty, and fairness. Conscience acts as a moral compass, preventing decisions that may feel tempting but violate values or compromise long-term well-being. Consistent alignment of intuition with conscience strengthens trust in your inner guidance system. Develop the discipline to act promptly. Intuition is most effective when recognized and acted upon without procrastination. Hesitation allows doubt, fear, or external influence to override the initial insight. Acting consistently reinforces confidence in the ability to discern and follow guidance accurately. Use reflection to validate intuitive action. After making a decision based on intuition, observe outcomes and assess whether the choice was aligned with truth and values. Reflection reinforces learning, calibrates perception, and strengthens the mind's capacity to recognize reliable guidance in the future. Strengthen intuition through experience. The more situations you navigate consciously and ethically, the more refined your internal signals become. Learning from outcomes, successes, and mistakes trains the mind to distinguish true insight from distraction or bias, enhancing consistency in decision-making. Combine intuition with deliberate knowledge. While instinctive insight is powerful, integrating it with understanding, research, or relevant expertise improves accuracy and effectiveness. Intuition guided by informed awareness and truth produces decisions that are both inspired and grounded, Practice quiet and mindfulness. Moments of stillness enhance access to intuition. Noise, overthinking, and constant external stimulation obscure subtle signals. Daily practices such as meditation, focused breathing, or mindful reflection sharpen the ability to perceive inner guidance with clarity. Trust without rigidity. Acting on intuition requires faith in the signal while remaining flexible. Outcomes may require adaptation, and circumstances can shift. Confidence in intuition does not mean inflexibility. It means being attuned, responsive, and guided by truth while adjusting to evolving realities. Maintain ethical consistency. Repeatedly acting on intuition in alignment with conscience and truth builds integrity and credibility, both internally and externally. Decisions made with consistent ethical grounding create trust in your own judgment and reinforce resilience against uncertainty or external pressure. Observe emotional responses to intuitive signals. Fear, excitement, hesitation, or doubt may arise when receiving guidance. Learning to differentiate between emotional reactions and authentic intuitive insight ensures actions are based on reliable perception rather than transient moods or impulses. Document patterns of intuitive success. Recording instances where following guidance produced beneficial outcomes helps recognize reliable signals. Journaling experiences, decisions, and results strengthens confidence in the inner process and provides reference points for future challenges. Integrate intuition into daily decision-making. Practice listening and acting on smaller, low-risk insights to build skill and trust. Regular engagement enhances sensitivity, sharpens discernment, and reinforces confidence in applying guidance to larger, more significant choices. Apply moral reasoning consistently. Even when intuition suggests a shortcut or opportunity that may seem advantageous, evaluate alignment with higher principles. Acting with conscience ensures that decisions are sustainable, ethical, and conducive to long-term growth rather than short-term gain at the expense of values. Build patience with outcomes. Intuitive decisions may not produce immediate results. Trust in the process and remain attentive to ongoing signals, adjusting action when necessary. Patience supports clarity and prevents premature abandonment of inspired choices. Strengthen alignment with truth. Clarify what truth means personally and universally by identifying non-negotiable principles, observing natural laws, and evaluating cause and effect. Intuition guided by truth ensures decisions are coherent, consistent, and defensible. Avoid overanalysis. Excessive rumination can paralyze intuitive action. Once insight is recognized and evaluated against conscience and truth, act decisively. Action itself validates intuition and strengthens confidence in subsequent signals. Practice gratitude for guidance. Recognizing the benefits of intuitive action reinforces awareness and attentiveness. Gratitude maintains openness to future signals and strengthens the relationship between inner guidance and conscious action. Balance courage with discernment. Acting on intuition may involve uncertainty or risk. Courage ensures follow-through, while discernment ensures alignment with ethical and practical principles. Together, these qualities produce decisions that are both bold and responsible. Seek feedback when appropriate. Discuss intuitive decisions with trusted mentors or advisors to gain perspective, identify blind spots, and confirm alignment with truth. Constructive feedback complements inner guidance and enhances accuracy in future decisions. Consistent action on intuition guided by conscience and truth cultivates trust in oneself, clarity in purpose, and resilience in facing uncertainty. By observing signals, evaluating alignment with values, integrating knowledge, and following through with courage, decisions become both effective and principled. Over time, this practice strengthens judgment, fosters self-reliance, and ensures that every choice contributes to growth, integrity, and meaningful progress in life. Chapter 20. Live each day expressing the God within fully. Every day is an opportunity to express the fullness of the God within, to act with integrity, purpose, and conscious presence. Living each day fully is not about grand gestures or extraordinary events, but about bringing awareness, love, and intentionality to every thought, word, and action. The divine within each person represents wisdom, creativity, courage, and the potential for transformation. Recognizing this presence allows decisions and behaviors to reflect higher values, guiding interactions, choices, and personal growth in meaningful ways. To live fully, it is essential to cultivate awareness of this inner power and allow it to direct daily life consistently. Begin each morning by centering on the inherent divine presence. Take time to focus, reflect, or meditate on the qualities within that guide integrity, compassion, and purpose. Recognizing that every thought and action can reflect this inner wisdom sets the tone for the day. Intentional recognition of the divine within cultivates clarity and focus, ensuring that responses to circumstances are conscious rather than reactive. Observe daily choices with awareness. Every decision, whether small or large, is an opportunity to express the God within. Choosing honesty over convenience, patience over frustration, or generosity over self-interest reinforces alignment with higher values. Awareness of this capacity transforms ordinary activities into meaningful expressions of character and inner strength. Integrate gratitude into daily practice. Recognizing the abundance within and around you nurtures a mindset of appreciation and openness. Gratitude strengthens emotional resilience, fosters compassion, and enhances the quality of interactions with others. Expressing gratitude for life, opportunities, and personal abilities reflects an acknowledgement of divine presence in everyday moments. Act with courage and authenticity. Expressing the God within requires the willingness to be true to values even when challenged or misunderstood. Courageous action ensures that beliefs and intentions are reflected in conduct. Authenticity draws energy from inner alignment and communicates confidence and integrity to others. Cultivate compassion in all interactions. The divine presence within manifests as empathy, patience, and understanding. Listening actively, offering support, and responding thoughtfully strengthens relationships and contributes to a harmonious environment. Compassion is a deliberate choice that demonstrates the power of inner divinity in practical life. Engage in purposeful work. Approach tasks with focus, care, and intention, regardless of scale or visibility. Every effort becomes an expression of capability, creativity, and commitment when performed with awareness of the inner presence. Purposeful engagement elevates ordinary tasks into acts of personal excellence and contribution. Practice mindful communication. Words carry energy and influence. Speak with honesty, clarity, and kindness to convey the strength and wisdom of the God within. Avoid careless speech or reactions that stem from impulsive emotion. Mindful communication strengthens trust, connection, and personal authority. Maintain integrity in thought and action. Align choices with ethical standards, personal principles, and moral clarity. Acting consistently with integrity reflects inner alignment, builds confidence, and sets a foundation for sustainable success and respect. Integrity is the cornerstone of living fully and expressing the divine within. Use time intentionally. Allocate attention and energy to activities that support growth, purpose, and positive impact. Time disciplined around meaningful objectives allows for consistent expression of inner potential and ensures that daily life contributes to long-term development and fulfillment. Integrate reflection and self-assessment. Pause regularly to evaluate whether actions, thoughts, and emotions reflect the God within. Adjust behaviors, priorities, and approaches to maintain alignment with inner principles. Reflection strengthens self-awareness, accountability, and the capacity for conscious improvement. Engage creativity and innovation. Express divine potential through exploration, invention, and imaginative problem-solving. Creativity enhances personal satisfaction, drives progress, and demonstrates the dynamic capacity within each individual. Acting on creative insight turns vision into tangible outcomes. Serve others with purpose. Contributions to others amplify the expression of the divine by translating inner wisdom into practical impact. Acts of service embody generosity, compassion, and commitment to collective well-being, reinforcing the value of higher purpose in everyday life. Balance action and rest. Recognize the need for renewal to sustain consistent expression of inner potential. Rest, reflection, and restorative practices preserve energy, focus, and clarity. Consistent balance allows daily life to reflect fullness of capability without depletion. Respond to challenges with resilience. Difficulties are opportunities to express strength, patience, and adaptability. Facing obstacles with composed determination and principled action demonstrates the power of inner divinity and fosters growth through experience. Practice continuous learning. Seek knowledge, skill, and understanding in ways that expand insight, competence, and perspective. Learning strengthens the ability to act wisely, enhances discernment, and enriches contribution. Knowledge applied consciously amplifies the influence of the God within. Celebrate achievements and milestones consciously. Recognize progress as an expression of effort, integrity, and alignment with purpose. Celebration reinforces motivation, encourages continued effort, and acknowledges the manifestation of inner potential in tangible outcomes. Engage in disciplined habits. Daily routines that cultivate focus, health, and growth sustain the capacity to express inner power. Discipline transforms intention into consistent action, producing results that reflect wisdom, dedication, and strength. Maintain clarity of vision. Hold a clear sense of personal purpose and the impact desired in life. A defined vision guides daily choices, filters distractions, and ensures that effort is aligned with meaningful objectives. Vision directs energy toward outcomes that reflect the God within, foster emotional intelligence. Recognize, manage, and harness emotions to support thoughtful action. Emotional mastery allows calm, intentional response under pressure and enhances the quality of decisions, relationships, and contributions. Embrace accountability. Accept responsibility for actions, decisions, and results. Accountability reinforces integrity, sharpens self-awareness, and strengthens alignment with values. Being answerable to oneself and others enhances credibility and ensures consistent expression of inner principles. Integrate purpose into all areas of life. Every activity, interaction, and decision provides an opportunity to demonstrate the values, insight, and capabilities inherent within. Purposeful living transforms routine actions into meaningful expressions of the God within, creating a cohesive, authentic life. Live each day as a deliberate practice of expression. Align thoughts, words, and actions with integrity, courage, and compassion. Engage intentionally in work, relationships, and self-development. Balance activity with rest and reflection. Celebrate growth and sustain commitment to continuous improvement. Expressing the God within fully means embracing presence, purpose, and responsibility in every moment, ensuring that life becomes a consistent reflection of inner wisdom, power, and potential. By approaching each day with awareness, intention, and integrity, the God within is no longer dormant but active, guiding choices, shaping behavior, and influencing the world around. Daily life becomes a living manifestation of inner excellence, where every thought, decision, and action contributes to growth, impact, and fulfillment. Living fully requires commitment, courage, and constant alignment with principles, ensuring that every moment is an opportunity to embody the divine potential that exists within.